That's after start. But we had a long conversation at the beginning. So we're going to pick up where we left off, in oxygen not included. We're doing the Frost Planet. We do have the Bionic DLC loaded. I haven't really done much with the Bionic DLC yet, because so far in the game, what I've been presented with shows me as having, like, significant pros and cons with the Bionic DLC, which a lot of the cons has been like, but why would I take that over a regular dupe? Because those cons are severe. For the moment, the projects we're working on is I'm trying to get this space warmed up enough I can have liquid water inside here. We're trying to better stabilize our oxygen in here, because that temperature will let me use these oxyferns. We are working on putting this geyser up here to use. It's a water geyser. And so it is slowly melting a bunch of stuff in the area. But we're going to slowly try and get that put to our use. Like right now I've just got exposed. It's making water. It's going to melt all of this mercury and ice eventually. That's fine by me. We have a hydrogen geyser up here. There was another water geyser somewhere down here-ish. I remember seeing it. Yeah, it's down there. There's another water geyser. We found a gold volcano over here somewhere. It's somewhere... Oh, I think that's it there. The gold volcano's underneath there, which that's terrifying. We'll want it eventually because it gives us refined metal easily. But it's refined metal at 4,000 degrees Fahrenheit. Those are the numbers you stop caring, whether it's Fahrenheit or Celsius, because it's just, what's the temperature? Yes. Yes is the temperature. Alright, we'll let that continue doing its thing. Basically, I'm just letting that slowly build up a supply of water. And, you know, the mercury will get mixed in, and eventually we'll need to start cleaning that out. You know, yeah, you heard Stone Shard got many updates? Yeah, so I looked at Stone Shard, and it was one of those games I was on the fence on. That it's a game I will personally really enjoy, but it's also a game that I'm not sure will do well on the channel. Not because it's a good, bad, or otherwise game. It's just very different from the content I normally do. And that's always one of those ones you gotta be a little bit careful. Because a lot of times if you have a game that's just too significant of a departure of your normal content, you know, it's just not the right audience for the right thing. It's the same thing that like what I've explained this in the past. It's like if you tune into the Discovery Channel, and instead of seeing anything sciencey or whatever, you have Big Brother or Bachelor. It's like, okay, this isn't any judgment call about those shows, but if I'm someone who's tuning into this, you know, this specific channel, that's probably not what I'm looking for. All right. Yeah, so for the moment, this area in space is solving its own problem. We've already got things set up. A lot of oxygen not included is getting things in, like, going, I have this problem, I've pulled this lever should improve the situation of that problem. And then letting that gradually run to get there. You'll get a lot of that in this game. Like, a lot of that. We also need to increase our power production, but that's not an immediate thing. We did find that there is a Saturn Creeper up there, and then there was another Saturn Creeper way over here. And the thing that's so good about the Saturn Creeper is it'll eat an animal, and it'll make hydrogen, and it makes a decent amount of hydrogen per animal. And so the hope here is that we can get the Saturn Creepers planted and do all that. I think long term, I am going to need to make a farm for the Saturn Creepers, because unfortunately with where we've got them, they're nowhere near that. This is a game you'd like to get into, but your Sims always die earlier. Oh yeah, the dupes in this game are dumb as a box of rocks. You have to babysit them constantly. Like there's no Like, there's no leaving them to their own devices. They will just straight up kill themselves. Yeah, so once that's hit 32 degrees Fahrenheit or so, I'm going to want to start getting the fresh water in here. Once we get that, we can put the fresh water up to the lavatories and all that. And then you can bring it back down. Poo water goes here, clean water goes there. You get the idea. We actually are using the poo water as a way of getting, you know, getting our oxygen here, because it puts out polluted oxygen. The deodorizer cleans the oxygen, and it spits out. We got a little that got past, you know, past it between like these emitting polluted water and all that, but we'll get there. So Luxray is getting stressed. And that's because we kept skilling up Luxray, and we've been hitting that point where there's problems there. Yeah, we got all those bees' nests everywhere. Yeah, and we were digging down here. That's getting to the point where we can't quite get that far down there without more equipment, like the oxygen masks. We're gonna have to do that soon. Relatively soon, we're also going to need to be starting to get Sorry, we're gonna start needing to get plastic and all that produced. Can you get over here now? Why is that not getting done? Oh, our builder's probably over here. Let's check in on what our builder's actually getting done. Because I don't think you're up here working on that right now. Are you trying to get this and then running out of air on your way down? Yeah, so you're working on it. And unfortunately, the major eye irritation massively slows them down. Because I am trying to breach that. We've got you still cleaning up the ice, got plenty of storage for ice and all that for this. Yeah, so we've got our building people are working, so that's good. We honestly probably can bring on another person. Yeah, since I got that, let's go ahead and plan for another person to be here. Because it is those things in oxygen not included, you gotta be very careful to not bring on too many people too fast. Because all of those things add yet more like consumption of air and food, and you'll need more water to support them and all sorts of different things like that. So it is just a thing that if you grab a lot of people early on, it can absolutely kill your colony. And it could go in here and drop a heater to fast up, you know, heat things. I'm not worried about it. We are just letting this wood heater gradually build up the heat, because it's also making carbon dioxide gradually, which is feeding a bunch of this. Yeah, pretty soon I'm going to slam that door closed. And that'll be another thing. It would be nice, though, if before we get there, we get other stuff sorted out. What I'll probably need to do is maybe somewhere up here, put down an air pump that when it detects carbon dioxide, like at the air pump level, it runs the pump for just a couple seconds. That way, if it runs into a situation where my oxygen production inside this area is insufficient, it pumps the carbon dioxide out here down to this area, where that could be much higher. Yeah, they're leaving all that oxalate on the ground down there. That'll probably be a good thing, because I want it to be where the air pump is above this line here, so that these later on can start processing it. So go ahead and get that started. So we'll put the gas pump, I want it right around this level. Actually, probably go 2 lower than that. If we go right around here, it should be plenty higher than those plants. And what I want to do from here is we will want airflow blocks to make sure we can pull the air up from underneath. I'm going to remove that one pike apple bush. I don't need it inside here. We can go ahead and get that up there. And ventilation. Right now, I'll just dump it right out there. I think it wouldn't be a bad idea to move it all the way over here and dump out that area. Actually, it's probably a better idea. Let's go ahead and do that now. Let's take the time to do it right. So yeah, so if I vent this all the way over here, you put on the far side there, and drop it down. Then we do that. That should allow me to vent the CO2 onto these four, because I'll get rid of that. So I'll just dump it here. And that'll be good. We don't have what we need here yet. What I'm going to want is there's a sensor to detect what materials up there. And like I said, I want to put somewhere around... Maybe I'll put like around here to check for carbon dioxide. And if we see carbon dioxide, do it. Now, if I wanted to make it work even better, I could put like an AND gate and check for carbon dioxide in like 2 of the tiles like this. Actually, I think it has to be like that. I think the AND gate's like 4. And the reason we could do that way is there's like 1 tick of carbon dioxide. It's not pumping out nothing but oxygen because that 1 tick of carbon dioxide. We basically check to see if there's a decent amount of carbon dioxide across the board. It might be worth doing. The downside is that requires refined metal. And for the moment, I don't have much of a source of refined metal. Why not use a gas sorter? Oh, we could do that later. Like, right now I'm just trying to get the basic thing set up just for when the carbon dioxide gets over a certain level. We could set up a gas sorter where we go down here, we have, like, 1 pump that bumps the oxygen up here, a 2nd pump that pumps the CO2 down there. Yeah, we could do that. It's not actually a bad idea. Either way, this part still stays the same. Because it could go down here. Well, so I need room for air storage. Because we're going to do a gas sorter, I'm going to want some buffer in the middle of it. Do I have even the containers? I don't yet. But what we can do is we get some containers for a buffer in the middle. This area here I'm not going to be using anymore. That wouldn't be a bad move, is to clear this out. And start putting like 2 or 3 big air tank or big gas tanks for air, and then have like a pump to go up here so that basically anytime the pressure gets low enough here, it'll pump the air back out in this area, and if the pressure gets too high, then the vent closes. And so if we do it like down here, it should shove the CO2 down, maybe around this level, or actually I could put it over here. And the advantage of that is it would shove the CO2 that way. As like this filled up. That's actually not a bad idea. So put the air vent here. It shoves the CO2 over this way. The carbon dioxide goes down here where it can be processed. Then have like another thing down here for the carbon dioxide. Again, same idea. Because at that point we could probably enclose this thing. So we don't not just seeping the gas everywhere. And again, that'll give us a dedicated thing. Eventually, we will need to either oxygenate the area outside here or whatever. That's the very first time I played Oxygen Not Included, that's actually what I ended up doing, is I just made the entire, like I ceilinged off the whole thing and I just made, like hollowed out almost the entire map down and literally just produced enough oxygen to like fully fill up the area. And it just had like a little room on the bottom, was just constantly processing to make oxygen and scrub up surplus CO2. because with all the geysers, I had the abundance of material that I could just kind of saturate the entire world with oxygen. So we unlocked Material Studies Terminal and the rad bolt thing. Okay, so you finished that, so we now want to go in and delete this whole platform. And the reason I want to delete that whole platform is just the fact that that's going to impact airflow. New printables are available. Okay. We're gonna keep our eye on individual, like, we're gonna try and get a bionic at some point. I don't need a rancher. I already have a dedicated rancher with Luxray, so this person's not gonna be important to us right now. I'll go ahead and take the food, because the tidying's fine, but I already have a tidying person for the moment, so I'm gonna go ahead and leave them alone. Let's see what skill we actually would want. Priorities. So we look at our priorities. We could get an artist. That wouldn't be that bad. Actually, so we could get an artist as one possibility. That's probably a good one to have. Rocketry is already just happening over time by itself. Actually, you know what? Honestly, having a hauling person might not be bad with how much we got here. So maybe someone with like really high athletics and or an artist might be our first priorities. Because then they can play catch up with all this junk piled everywhere. Alright, and that ice is starting to melt again. Which will make this inaccessible again. That's totally fine by me. This is all going to melt in time. That's completely expected. That is intentional. I opened this thing up knowing this was going to gradually melt stuff out. The good news is there's so little air in here that if this covers with water, eventually it'll stop erupting. The ability for heat to transfer up is very low. So I got a long time before we got to worry about all this starting to go. Okay, so we've got our beds. That's all fine. The other thing we would want to do, and I keep forgetting, let's try to get ourselves some kind of a park. I literally just said I'd probably put down here somewhere our air storage. Oh, there's more than 4 plants right here. Okay, so let's make this spot into a park. Just because I don't have a park, and it is one of those things that there is an achievement I don't have. So a nature reserve requires 4 plants, no industrial thing, must be 32 blocks inside, and have 4 wild plants. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 wild plants in here. So 6 actually. So I think we literally go, we cut down this side, go 2 blocks below that, and cut back up here. That should be big enough. It can qualify as a nature preserve, and that'll work. So let's go over here. And then we can go over here. I don't remember. Was it stations? Let's see. Furniture, maybe? Somewhere in here. Yeah, park sign. So let's see. What is the size of the nature reserve? Is that too big? Nature reserve... 120 blocks. That should be fine. It'd have to be 12 by 10. And I don't know if there's a good way to measure things, but we'll see. So you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So it's 99 tiles inside there. We will need a ladder along this side to build it up. And a ladder along that side to build it up. I will just cut a hole around this side. Get over there easy. And that'll give us a nature reserve. Let's see, you love this game, but it has been a long time since you played. That you never made a park. They were not a thing last time I played. So parks have actually been in the game for an extremely long time. Like, I don't know if they were there from the beginning. It's just one of those things that naturally you just never really had a need to do it. Because the challenge of getting the, yeah, when you wall it off, it'll only count the area that's in there. Yeah, that should still be big enough. If it's not, I could just carve a little bit of this ice away here and that ice there, and it'll be fine. I'm not too sweaty about it. And the 2 crops up there are neat because I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 plants down here anyways. Yeah, it's one of those things that, like, the game itself never really gives you a reason to care about too much. You do get a lot of morale for having one. Like, a lot of morale for having one. The catch is just, you know, like, you only get the morale bonus if you cut through that room. So it's either one, you make, like, a really inconvenient path to force them to go through their room, and then they get bad at doing everything because, you know, they just take that really out of the route way. Seems like a nice entrance there. Yeah, so you have to have the plant there. It's much easier not on the Frost planet because you can keep, like, one area with, like, all the natural bricks on the bottom and then just toss a couple pips in there with some seeds and they'll eventually make it eligible for being a park. But, the pips freeze to death if you put them here. That said, that might still be doable. As they make this place warm, one unfortunate thing, there's only a couple blocks that you can return to being natural. Like where you'd have to make a space. I think you can do it with, there's certain materials that you can liquefy by getting hot enough, and then when they cool back down into being a solid block, it'll go back to considering it like a wild tile. It's really hard to do that in an area you want people to be alive because it requires you to make certain things molten, and it also has to be a material that you can plant stuff in. There was, oh wait, wasn't there, oh no, there was I don't remember the trick. There was a trick where I believe using a storage cabinet or something that you could put a bunch of material in, and I can't remember, there was like a way you had to damage it, and when it came out, it would make a tile. There's a couple different ways. But basically, you have to have, like, there's no flooring you can put down that counts. You have to have stuff that causes it to turn into a block that you can then plant in. To plant wild plants in. I'm trying to think of a way that I could, like, inside my base, make, like, a little nature preserve artificially after the fact. I know there's ways, because I remember someone showed me a way the last time we played, and there was something, I can't remember what materials they were, there was some way we found that you could kind of remake a, like a wild area. It was monotonous and slow, but it was a way to do it, which normally you can't. So, you know, that is just the breaks sometimes. So are we feeding the creeper yet? Nah, not yet. We'll get there. I want you to go out of your way to destroy this thing, please. You are glum. Why are you glum? Oh, you were a tame one. I'm gonna go ahead and wrangle you. Because what we'll do is areas that I got a couple of animals there, we might relocate them. Oh yeah, no, it's fun. I do wonder if they've improved. One of the problems that Oxygen Not Included always had was there were issues where as your run started getting longer and longer along, you usually end up with some pretty awful performance issues as the colony grew. I wonder if they put some significant effort into making that a better experience. So Luxray learned to scale. Luxray is already dealing with a lot of stress. If I give them more points and stuff, it'll stress them out more. We are going to need to get more stuff to help with morale. Hopefully we get that sorted out. Let's see, ran way better endgame than it first did with time play, but you know it doesn't help much. Gotcha. Alright, so we're gonna go over here real fast. I'm mostly interested in where it's gonna plunk them. Okay, so we do have this area down here. There's rooms and all that. This is the other planet. I'm not really looking to hit the other planet yet. Until we have the ships that go back and forth, it's not going to do us a whole lot of good. Yep, so what we'll do is we'll say, dig that out. I have no idea who we're gonna get with this. That is the one downside of when you grab an NPC through this kind of thing, or grab a dupe this way. You have no idea what you're gonna get. Yes, this is the gross water planet. Rhetorical Answer has made an amazing discovery. A barely working cryo tank 3000 has been uncovered containing Gene inside a frozen state. Rhetorical is successfully thawing Gene, and this encounter has filled both duplicants with a sense of hope. Something they will desperately need to keep the morale up and facing dangers ahead. Alright, so Gene is thawed. So I have no idea about anything about Gene, but let's go ahead and draw to see who gets to be Gene. That'll be Donkey Duff. So I got our new dupe. So tell me, Gene. Tell me about yourself. You have 3 points. Alright. So hear me out. You are now our cook, and you are going to be an operator. So you are our at-home, get stuff done dupe. You're gonna hang out inside the main building, and you're gonna get a whole lot going on. Alright, colony achievement. Teleport a duplicate and defrost a friend from another world. We have logs that we'll deal with later. Like I said, for the logs, I'm going to kind of treat as we ignore them all for now, and then we come back later. Oh, right. You have a recharge time. I forgot about that. Well, that's awkward. And apparently can't do literally anything. I don't... Why can I... Oh, because we don't have materials. Well, that's a thing. You start mining while we wait for that. Why are you complaining about the crops? That's atmosphere, and then body temperature for you. That's not unexpected. I think for right now we're going to close that door because we got the CO2 just down to this bottom layer right here. I'd rather this sit here and at these hit density where these stop consuming the oxalite. Of course I did that. It's fine. We'll come down from below. That'll be high enough to reach all those. And deconstruct that tile. Alright, so we're going to work on trying to get into some of these rooms, because that's just going to take time. I forgot you can only teleport back and forth so fast. What I should have done, no matter what, someone's going to have to wait one way or the other. Because, like, if I go over here and I wait till they had to teleport back to unfrost them, that's a thing. Either way. Don't trap yourself, please. Oh, you're gonna pee yourself. I'm sorry, rhetorical. Well, that is what it is. Wait, radiation? Oh, right, you yourself are radioactive. That's right. For the moment, cool. It's gonna be terrible. That's fine. They're getting it sorted out. That's fine. We'll get all figured out on the other side. Okay, so we're figuring all that stuff out. You can toggle those to stay open. Yeah, so it looks like you're probably gonna have to stay here a couple of days. But if we can get that toilet built, you can use the toilet, and that'll make your life easier. We're not gonna be able to do a lot. Like, right now, this whole place is gonna be a germy mess for you in no time. That is what it is. Oh, too late. Okay. Okay, so they'll work on that, and we'll get you home soon. Got the supercomputers going. We can go ahead and speed up time again. Oh, we should also go to schedules. Donkey Duff, you are on the schedule with Luxray. And we're mostly doing that, so you take care of that priorities-wise. Donkey Duff is our cook, and then they'll operate things as the second responsibility. Otherwise, they will work on storing stuff. Yeah, so we're getting all that handled. We still haven't fed the moss or the Saturn Creeper. We are slowly gaining wood, which is also good news. Alright, so we've got the gas pump. I don't want to power it up yet. Like I said, I need the sensor to check for if there's CO2. Because I don't want it to run, or like check if it's not oxygen or whatever. Basically, I'd only want to run in the event that the atmosphere in here isn't oxygen, that we're slowly going to get whatever it is out. I'll still need a buffer area for it. I still do think that buffer is going to be somewhere down in this area. That will just put like 2-3 tanks, pump it into the tanks of the appropriate type, and you know, pump it out. That kind of thing. Okay, so I do have a toilet. There'll hopefully be less future accidents. Yeah, are those one and done? Yeah, those are one and done. Okay. How are you doing? 20%. So yeah, you got time. So probably need to do is do what we can to get some of the gross water out of here. When we get the gross water out of here, we can at least get that cleaned up so they don't have to, like, stand in the disgusting water all the time. We can probably go over here as well into this space. Looks like we got a nice little spot over there. Be able to chuck one chunk there. Get that all opened up. I don't think you can mine through this, can you? Nope. That'll be a later thing. Alright. So Rhetorical's doing their best to make their living situation as not awful as possible. We'll see how far I can get them. Chilly surroundings. It's 70 degrees. Like, don't get me wrong, 70 is not exactly warm, but that's not chilly. Right, so let's go with the rust. Because that can produce oxygen later. Food, we're more than fine. They're still working on getting that built over there. They're still working on these projects. They're still working on this down here, apparently. Very soon this is going to puncture where we're gonna start having the warmth bleed in here. Here, you're starting to worry me that that's a 4. That's a 4 priority. Make the up track before the down track. I'm a little worried you're gonna get really far down there and not be able to get back up before suffocation happens. Why are you... I was like, why are you just chilling down there in the goop water? Okay, so you can hopefully avoid going into the goop water too much now. Like, beyond carving what we've already got here. All the oxygen here is awful. But that's just the nature of this place, is everything is slime and gross. And so you got a lot more filtering to do on that side. I want to check one thing. Okay. Net's going fine. We're getting a bunch more wood. Eventually, it's a lot of stinky air. Yeah. No, it's when you go to this planet, the catch being is you got like polluted dirt, it's going to emit polluted oxygen. There's polluted water, it's going to emit polluted oxygen. Everything here, emits polluted oxygen. Oh, there's a geyser right here. What are you? A gold volcano right there. Let's not touch that at all right now. Yeah, let's leave that alone. Let's leave that all the way alone. There's another one up here. A cobalt volcano. I was not expecting to see geysers like that immediately. A lot of obsidian down there. So those are actually some really good sources of refined metal, but it's going to take a lot to tame them. If I just start cutting into them now, it's going to be a real bad time. In the meantime, while you got nothing better to do, I'm going to have you just start carving this area up. Because having any level of breathable air here shouldn't be a difficulty right now. All these things off-gassing all this polluted air should be fine. But yeah. It's going to be lots of icky lung or yuck lung or whatever they call it. Alright, we had some food rot down here. Yep, so we're starting to cut through that. And we have this to try and mitigate the heat going back and forth between there. It's not going to do a great job, though. It's also going to make it much harder for our people to work down there, but we'll deal with that when we get there. They've got this almost handled. Actually, I think that does count now. So let's see here. That is a nature reserve of +6 morale. Love to see it. Now, I still technically need to make a park with 2 wild plants. Which I could technically put, like, right next to it if we can clear off to see what's wild plants here and not. Oh, you don't need this anymore, do you? Like, we could try and put, like, a little wild park, like, right there or something like that. That one's not as hard because it's so few plants. Alright. Okay, you're halfway charged just about, just slightly shy of. Sounds like Tomb might already be home. That's really early. Hear that there's something going down where I'm hearing noise. No, like I wouldn't be worried about like someone breaking in or anything. Like neighbor making noise outside, that kind of thing. Alright, so you get that ladder taken care of there. Alright. How's the temperature getting here? Still hovering in those 30s up there. This is getting there. It's hovering around the 20s, upper 20s and all that in this area now. So we should be reaching the point of liquid water soon. And once I get the liquid water happening in this area, life will get a lot easier from there, because we will be moving that warmth in this area. But until a lot of this starts warming up, it'll still be a problem. Like usually keeping things cold is much harder in the game than keeping them hot. Hot just kind of happens by the nature of all the things you're doing. Especially when you start popping geysers and they're dumping heat everywhere. Alright. So we've got almost all the ice cleared out from up here. That'll improve the decor. What we could also do in the meantime, just to improve things here. Where are you? Furniture. So yeah, have higher decor for granite. Do I need this? Nope. Am I doing it anyways? Yep. Because it is those things that will just, most rooms will benefit from it regardless. It doesn't take much effort to build it. It gives everyone nice bonuses. It's also those things that later on you can add backgrounds. Oh yeah, no, you don't need to be worry about like saying, you know, holidays are being late. Like there's no, you're not on a schedule. Unlike that. You can also get the background tiles later on as well. And those could be another way to improve the decor of places. Yeah, so we look at where's the beauty rating. We look at the beauty rating for a bunch of these things. Like you see that these are really bad. This area has a lot of negative. We'll gradually make more and more of the area show up as green. And that keeps your, that gives another morale bonus. So like this one's saying we have wood tile here, which adds a bunch. The negative is the outhouses and the laboratory and debris. So we have a total decor that's fairly positive. And that's actually saying this has reached a maximum decor of 120, that it can't go higher. I didn't realize there was a maximum. It's fine. That means they drop debris and all that, and you get negatives, it ignores it. Like, the basic materials for, like, stone and granite and all that, early game can be a pain, but I've found, like, after the early game, it's very seldom I ever find a situation where I'm like, oh, I don't have enough of this. You just, there's so much to clean up. Yes, this person's actually getting a decent amount of rads. Luckily they use the restroom, so it's going down. That's just because they didn't get to use the restroom the day before. Alright. Is them? Your autistic brain won't leave you alone? Gotcha. Well, don't be too hard on yourself, because, like, genuinely, this is for your entertainment, as well as, like, you know, sense of community, those kind of things. Just no reason to be too hard on yourself. Alright, so we'll get that going. Brain gremlins suck? Yes, they do. You are not wrong. I would love to have us having a significantly higher amount of wood coming in. I honestly, low-key, kind of wonder if I make, like, another area up here, and we just kind of lean into having even more flocks. That'd be worthwhile. To have, like, 2 pens for flocks. Right now, the only issue I'd run into is, I believe that would overwhelm our power. No, we're probably okay for power in that. Research. Alright, so let's go down here. Do I have... Yeah, so those are the element filters, so we want that. Let's go ahead and grab the automation lines. That way you can get this set up, so should we start building up carbon dioxide in this room, we can dump it. Grant has not proven to be that big an issue. Alright. They're also making progress towards digging down here. We are now in this warm biome. So like I said, I do fully expect to bleed temperature up here gradually, which I don't really care about that much. More negative is they're going to probably slowly cool off this area. And I probably should not want to do that, but I also don't really care that much, because these give me lime, if I remember. If you use them as pets, you can get the exoskeletons. And I believe that'll give you lime. I want to see that's their main value. Most of the rest of this is just stuff I want to mine up and use. Okay, that's another cold biome down there. Because we're trying to get down here, I think we get low enough, we'll, there, so we'll get the suit training. There's a little pocket of worm. Alright. Okay, so she has got a lot of levels. We'll go ahead and give you crop tending. Alright, let's cancel this for now. The reason I'm canceling that for now is I want them to focus more on the stuff up here. We can go to you, mine those out. You can almost go home. Alright. You're just kind of opening up a pocket here for it to off-gas. We've got plenty of air pressure here. I'm not super worried about it. This is going to be a problem eventually, because this is going to fill up with carbon dioxide down here unless we make a deeper pit for it. But that'll be for something to worry about later. Yeah, so you got yucky lungs. You're gonna be dealing with that until we get out of here. Alright. It's like food is way above and beyond what I need. I do kind of want to get more flocks going. It's unnecessary. It really is. But at the same time, like having that extra wood would allow me to just keep doing what I'm doing. We can do it on our existing power infrastructure without a problem. And I know I still need to get the Bambus in a room, but they have different temperature requirements that are going to be a little bit of a headache. Is that snow? Alright, so that's a problem. So I'm down to clean this out, and that out, but leave that alone. Oh, that's still going to be a problem, isn't it? It's fine. We'll let that Weezewort get dug up. It's fine. We can go to power, wire, tuck that into the wall, and right on down. Okay. Meanwhile, we got the printers ready. So, you have an advanced medical booster, but you're worse at medical. Are you all terrible? Why is everyone in this colony terrible? As far as the cyborgs go. Every time you get a cyborg, it's like, I'm really good at this skill, but I'm bad at it. And you're like, but why would I accept that? Why would I do that? It's like, you got a skill that's supposed to give you one thing you're good at, and yet immediately undermine it by making you not good at it. Why would I ever choose that? Okay, so you're almost recharged. Yeah, so as you can see, this is now starting to spread and melt all the mercury out here. It'll melt all the ice. So I have just the chunks of phosphate, and I think there was another one up here. Was it? There's phosphorus and there's another one. Was it granite up here? There's another material up here that you couldn't melt. It's fine. Cook it all. Yeah, so we're letting the heat just spread and deal with a lot of this. Yep, and we got a bunch of the water here is getting cold enough to freeze. The water will slowly freeze away. But yeah, like I said, I'm gonna make a second area for the Floxes. It's called Luck of the Draw for a good dupe. Yeah, no, that's the thing. I do, even before this, there was very much, you would get a dupe, like almost all the dupes you'd get offered would be like pretty bad. And then you'd have to go and clean it up again on the other side. It is a whole thing. Oh, here. Cancel that one. There, that way we can reach to mine all that out. It's fine. You were just cooking away. Getting all our stuff there. We can go ahead and mark that as welcome. And plunking on the floor and not putting in the fridge. Okay. Weird. We're getting rid of all of our polluted dirt little by little. That's nearly done. Research is going along. Okay, can you go home yet? Alright, Rhetorical finally gets to go home. Welcome home, Rhetorical. And get back to hauling everything for everybody. Alright. How are the temperatures doing in here? That's almost above freezing. Because one of the things we want to be careful to not just slap down a heater and have it resonating heat, like, constantly. There's a very good chance if we go that route, we will heat up the area much quicker, certainly. But then on the other side of it, we'll suddenly find that now the area is really hot and I can't really manage the heat kind of thing. There's always a balance you gotta do with everything in this game. Okay, so that'll give us more animals. That's good. Because that'll give us more wood. And my hope is with the wood we can do a lot of, improve the decoration of a lot of our spaces. It'll give me more fuel sources to work with. All that kind of good stuff. Yeah, Rhetorical's gonna have to play catch up because stuff wasn't getting put away because that's what Rhetorical does here. And they got trapped on the other side for a while. Alright, so as you get that top block there removed. Okay, now you can just go for it. Cool. So we're getting the last of this all filled in. And it will definitely need to get another power grid. I'm fully planning for this to be its own power grid as well. Okay, so Vitez is my builder. You've got plenty of morale left. Let's give you a little digging as well. Because often the builders end up needing to do that. Luxray here has another point they can do. I think I'll give you the improved farming. Because you seem to be holding up your morale a little bit better now. As we've been, like, improving the food quality and everything else around here. We get all that sorted out. Alright. And sweep that, and so I can destroy that block that I didn't worry about anything. Alright. I don't know how you got in there. I understand why you're miserable. It's like, mood, miserable, confined. Don't know how you got there. It wasn't a good life choice. I'll give you that much. No question about it, it was not a good life choice. Still no food for the creeper. But this should also reduce our right now we have like an overabundance of food. The pike apples especially. We should be able to use that to mitigate our pike apple overrun. Basically, we're going to turn a bunch of pike apples into a bunch of wood. And that should help with that. Then we can kind of decide, do we want to do more here? Honestly, after I build that, I think I'm going to put the other heater here. I'm going to turn it on. It'll be a bit wasteful, but it should help with the warming up, and it'll also give people less penalties when they sleep. Those will be in range of the heater, because right now, it's got those 4 beds covered, but these 2 beds aren't. So I bake another one here, that'll be fine. I don't think the double coverage hurts anything. It shouldn't be a significant increase in my wood use. Alright, what other refinement things can we work on in the meanwhile? We don't have any oil. The plastic, I can use nectar to do the plastic, but the problem with that is I need a source of nectar. These trees up here are gonna be that source. For the moment, the issue I have is I'll need my people to be able to get up top here and do that. Without the suits and all that, that's pretty rough. I do imagine we'll probably put like another gate here, make this room a little bit bigger, and then, you know, put like the spacesuit checkpoints so they go out here, they can climb up top, and then we'll probably just start carving that flat. Which would be a little complicated with the hydrogen geyser right there. But we'll figure that out. But start carving that flat so that the bonbon trees and the snow can get all set up. And we'll keep flattening it out, and we'll just run a pipe along the top to just basically pump nectar down to give me more plastic that I could possibly want. Have like a nectar lake or something like that. In the meantime, people just working. Getting this all set up for me. They're just processing pike apples at speed. Building the trim and all that to make this nicer. We'll also get a background wall. The background wall will be necessary when we go up here, because if you have vacuum, like space exposure in the background, you don't have background wall. Any area you put in that room will just dump out into space. And later on, we will need to be up here with like telescopes and stuff like that. And it does make a little bit of a challenge to handling all that. Yes, there is some granite up here. That's what I was waiting for. Yeah, it's granite covering that that geyser, but all the stuff around it should melt. Yeah, that's again where the ice refroze. Oh, you found an eggshell. I was like, what are you after? Thank you for the follow. Welcome to the stream. Yeah, I just saw her running up here. I'm like, what are you after? Like, nothing's changed up here. It's like, oh, you dropped an egg, and I could use that eggshell for making lime. That's fair. You say Noxian Longitude? This is cool. Yeah, no, we've played a couple times on the channel. They're still doing updates for the game. Not super often, but like we do get the occasional like DLC whatever drop. Alright, some of those are canceling just because I think they've been inhospitable for long enough. We've got no shortage of ice. We've got the wort seed that we want. So Wee's wort needs phosphorate per cycle to produce cold, which is fine. They also produce a lot of radiation, so they can actually be pretty okay for a thing for cooling. Generally speaking, when you have them where they're domesticated versus wild, there ends up being some pain there. All right. Okay, so once we get those last two things there, we can have our extra flocks go up here. And that'll help out with a lot of that. Oh, I missed you, couldn't reach that. That's fine. Someday I might clean it up, or maybe not. Doesn't really matter. It's not going to hurt much. Temperature-wise, still not quite above freezing yet, but we're getting there. Just making more heat as we go. Okay, one thing we can do to kind of keep this under control. I'm gonna put a door there. And the RT is, the entire idea is when we run over here and we release stuff, that it gets eaten by the Saturn creeper without having to go through a big hassle. And that'll be just something happens as they breed more flocks and they have to figure out where to put them. Alright. It does bother me that they're just dropping the food at their feet and not putting any of it in the fridge literally right next to them. That accepts all the food they make. Like, they're making someone else clean up the mess. Let's go to people's priorities. Hiding first, storing next, supplying after that, I think is what we're gonna do. We're gonna start giving a bunch of the other ones just minor priorities on, just give everyone it. Minor priorities on supplying and storing. So once they finish their primary task, everyone, once they're finished with their primary responsibility, if they have a secondary responsibility, they'll do that. Otherwise, they will turn to deal with that. With that said, we just hit an ad break. It's about that time my wife gets home, so I'm gonna run downstairs, welcome my wife home, throw some dinner in the oven. It'll be about a 5-minute break. It is my quote-unquote long break for the stream. That said, I will be back in just a couple minutes, so I do hope you have been enjoying the stream, and I'll be back in just a couple minutes. So thank you again for tuning in. You have to know what the best tractor brand is there. Well, it's clearly going to be New Holland. And this is a joke I'm 100% stealing from Altosaurus. And the reason why the New Holland's the best tractor brand is it's always new. Because even if it's a 10-year-old New Holland, it's still a New Holland. Okay, hang on. Hang on. Little too ambitious with that jump. Yep, let's, take a minor detour. Keep the thread on one side of me. This is not good. Alright. Sweaty time. This is really bad. That's that. Yeah, no, that was definitely when they're all like, that's the whole scary thing. Like, a whole bunch of people when I first did the rally point like that, they're like, but wouldn't rallying make it, like, when having no rally, wouldn't that make it way easier?
Left again. Keep going. Keep going into the garage.
Moving. Oh, you are too
find
late.
Some Tupperware or hide behind the truck.
Oh, you're
Either
safe.
one.
It's not hunting anymore.
Oh,
Okay.
oh, Pank got away by like
We're
nothing.
by ourselves.
Ooh, fog. That's exactly what I wanted with my tropical storm helicopter. Fog. Excellent. This feels great. This is exactly what I want as we're going into nighttime and it's going to get super dark and I won't be able to see. This helicopter sucks. I'm glad we're not in a very high pop area because this is the kind of thing that would get you killed 100%. It's El Pastor in a tortilla shell. And if I let it sit here for too long, it's going to be mush in a tortilla shell. Whoa, look at those parts fly. Okay. Those parts had a place they wanted to be that wasn't that trailer. And off the cliff. Whee! Well, that's interesting. And I'm trying to fold them up. There we go. He barely did anything to the whole situation. So, alright. We don't accidentally over-poison ourselves. Hope we have antibiotics? Nope. The gap to see the full damage? Oh, they're probably popping through that gap. I'm just trying to get the ones that get all the way down here. This is gonna get you killed. I mean, I have to deal with it. It's just a shame I can't shoot them through it. Actually, tens of thousands. We've done it, chat. We successfully murdered a whole lot of trees. Not really. I cannot see in the grass at all. No, I was really depending on you not being there anymore. I really need you to get away from my car. Oh, that's it. Well, no, when I turned to go north there and I saw that was a full-on horde, or like a full-on... Get out of my way, man. But I want to eat the pizza. Okay. I eagerly await our P money. That sentence sounds very weird. I can only imagine some of the jokes that happen in farming. You followed after that? I truly don't understand people. Thank you for the follow. Welcome to the stream. Get out of the way, little car. Hey, I didn't get penalized for that one. Seems like Tomb's got some bad traffic on the way home, so she's not quite back yet. I did get, like, dinner put in the oven, all that good stuff. But what that does mean is in about 10 minutes, if she's not back yet, I gotta run downstairs to pull my food back out of the oven. So I do apologize if this ends up being, like, a double break kind of situation. Traffic happens. It's a thing. But either way, it is like the big break for the stream. Just the nature of timing with when my wife gets off work versus all that. It's just kind of the thing that happens. So you are gonna get wrangled, and you're gonna get wrangled, so I can put you in there. And we got new people. So you start with suit training and boosted athletics, but you suck at construction and all that. I'm willing to accept that. That's possibly the first bionic I've seen that I wasn't like, oh, you're terrible. So we got our new person here. And this will be Chaotic Kiwi. Alright. Alright, so with that, I do need to get another bed. How big is this room? So it could be up to 64 tiles, and it's currently 50 or 45. So what we will plan to do is we will plan to go a couple more tiles to the side here. And get ourselves another bed in here. Quickly, let's see. Furniture. And then what we could do is, when I delete that, well, that could be where the heater. Oh, and also duplicate skills. Oh yeah, this is very different. Boost the number of slots, grinding gears penalty reduction, athletics 2. So let's do the athletics 2. You don't really have a morale booster. Yeah, so basically I can assign morale boosters. Right, so they're a little bit different in that they don't have morale needs at all from the looks of it. It's just 1 and 1. We'll have to figure out how all of that even works. Meanwhile, I need to look in here because I remember there was some stuff for them. Yeah, these are discharger things. Power bank charger. None of those are what we're looking for. Okay, we got automation stuff. Gas element sensor. Okay, so let's see here. Do automation. Automation wire. And I gotta make sure it assigns to not Mercury. I got myself a lot of trouble a couple times the last time I played because it kept trying to assign it to Mercury again and again and again. You're like, no, stop it, please. You're still doing your thing. So I gotta remember is there was a couple different things here for like crafting. It was the soldering station that lets us make boosters. Oh, goodness gracious, do you require some power? Alright, so that thing's 480 power. So that thing's just a power beast. So what we'll do here is we can go ahead and, this is gonna have to go. I wanted to preserve it, but that's gonna have to go. But we'll go ahead and build this over here. We will need for power. We're gonna want a smart battery. What are you being made out of? Cinnabar, that's fine. We need a smart battery, and we will need more power production. Right now we do have wood that's renewable, and that's basically it, so I'll have that. I will need an automation wire here as well. Okay, it switched to copper. As long as it doesn't switch to mercury, we're fine. That's the big thing I'm watching. No mercury. Because mercury will just go in here and immediately melt it. It's a whole thing. Gear balm. Cool. Okay, so we already got that. So deconstruct this tile, and this tile to make room to get our graphics there. Alright. Meanwhile, schedules. Oh, it appears that, if I'm understanding this right, the cybernetic only needs to sleep once every 3 days? Alright, that's pretty wild. Meanwhile, I need to go to your priorities, so... You were... Yeah, I was gonna go ahead and make you deal with this, because you were set up to have, yeah, really high athletics. So you're going to focus on dealing with storing stuff as your primary responsibility. So you can continue to, like, clean stuff up around here, because it's just a bunch of stuff is getting piled in. We can go ahead and choose to sweep all this. I do see they gave us a lot of metal power banks, which I'm a little worried about, but we'll worry about that when we get there. So if you detect carbon dioxide, you'll turn that on. In the meantime, we need a power line. Okay. Yeah, so we got this just above where this carbon dioxide line is. So what should happen is as they do breathe this in, the carbon dioxide percent gets higher and higher. It should slowly work its way up. When it gets to this height, this sensor should trip. And when that sensor trips, we will pump some of the air out. We don't have the other half of the pump hooked up. I do need to get the containers researched. Let's just go ahead and skip to that now. Where were the containers in here? There's containers for storing air. We'll want to get those trained. Yeah, you should be under there it is. Yeah, so get the containers trained, because then what we could do is we could pump it down here. We can have like a filter. It pushes the, you know, whatever the appropriate gas is through the filter into there. We then pipe it where it needs to go, rinse and repeat. So I'll have like one for oxygen, one for carbon dioxide. Later on I'll have like hydrogen and chlorine and probably natural gas and a bunch of stuff. Oh yeah, food poisoning? You'll figure it out. Or you won't. I don't care. There's so much food just laying on the ground there. That's what I'm hoping the cybernetics will sort out over time. Let's make that the higher, you know, the higher responsibility. Make sure they prioritize putting food in the freezer first. Yeah, that's all I need to do is I just need to turn up the priority on the fridge. Okay, so do have the automation wire in here first. That's good news. Right, so you can get an eco battery pack. So it converts Abysslight into an eco battery bank. Cool, and that uses Abysslight. We got a fluid or whatever it is. Converts plastic into a fluid. It doesn't tell me what that is though. What is that? That's what I need to know is what are these things? They don't exist. They're not real. Alright, that's a major miss. Right. So yeah, right, so Masterworks Art Booster converts a microchip. And microchips we find on the craft, we take, right, but where do I get the microchips? What is the source of microchips? Let's see. Microchips are engineered tools containing countless lines of proprietary code. New applications will still be discovered. So it doesn't tell me where I get microchips from. So it's honestly seeming like in a lot of ways, this DLC has a bunch of misses, because that's one of the things that Oxygen Not Included has always done really well for stuff like this, that you're able to go in and it'll just tell you, it's like, hey, you get a microchip by using a crafting bench and then giving it gold and sand or something. I don't know. And so it is looking like in this particular case we don't. Or like the Eco Power Pack. It looks like I can use that for boosting power. Like, so you can basically make a bunch of power in one place and then shove it in another place to get power there. So that's actually better. But, like, I can't click on this to see what it even is. Yeah, so this is one I would say it's a miss for the game, is that where a lot of times this game is really good about, you can look up anything, it'll take you to the next thing, it'll take you to the next thing, it'll take you to the next thing. It's got things missing where it's just microchips. Where do you get it? Meh. Let's see, primarily by using the power control station to convert refined metal through bionic duplicate, which distributes microchips when overjoyed. Ah, so bionic duplicates distribute microchips when overjoyed? That's not what I would expected. Alright, so like I said, I do have to apologize. I'm gonna have to step away again for like just a minute. Just the timing. My wife too has gotten stuck in traffic because of work stuff. And so I put dinner in the oven, I just gotta pull it back out, and I'll be back up here in just a minute. And that should be it for breaks for a little while. So I do apologize about the double break. It's just a thing that happens. So thank you for tuning in. I'll be back in just a minute. You see nothing. You see nothing, worker. You move on. You killed 5 of my guards. No, get out of here, guard. There's nothing to see here. Oh, would you look at that? No. She does not put up with people who kill her guards. Yeah, that's the thing. It's like I never tried. The way we'd find out is I just back up the van and say, okay, can you hook up? And it either won't give me the option or will. Why? 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 Game. Why? I'm gonna bust up my gas station. And since there's 2 sides of that airlock, this shouldn't be really that bad. Well, we've lost. I thought we had depressurized it. So that's the thing that confused me, is we depressurized it, was exposed to the entire opening. Well, and that brings the end of our hard space shipbreaker run. Oh, you absolute jerk. That is absolute BS. Will had the plan. He shot the rhino next to me. Okay. Good job, man. So we got a bamboo. Getting one of the things that really makes it easier to pick up trees. That's not what I want. I knew that was coming the moment that happened. Don't be in a big building. Ah, we're in the middle of Louisville. Right, literally the exact middle of Louisville. This is a dead character. Oh, good. I haven't moved yet, and the jig is already up. Okay, so sorry about that. She's still not home, but hopefully she'll be home soon. It's quite a bit later than normal, but I know they had some stuff happen at her work that's probably contributing to a lot to traffic. So we'll see. Spring break, all that kind of stuff. So be keeping an eye on that. My apologies. Alright, so I've got that almost built. Definitely don't prioritize that. Ah, you ran out of lead. Alright, so you cancel building that. Yeah, so cancel building the things we don't have lead for. Alright, so we'll want to go down here. We've got some copper. So there's the copper. And then we go to our power here. There. And you'll end up needing to be copper instead. Which that'll be a pain, because that's the last of our refined metal, unless I start doing the inefficient metal crushing here. Which, if we have to do, we have to do. I don't know how much iron ore we have, but we can find it out real quick. If I spell it right. So I actually have a decent amount of iron ore, so we could certainly crush some to make some iron. But we don't want to do a whole lot. There's also cobalt. So you can do that and say cobalt ore. Yeah, so you don't have nearly as much cobalt ore. So the thing we have to watch is it is the thing you can get yourself in trouble where you start getting in the habit of making yourself more and more of that here, because this thing sucks on its efficiency of like the amount of ore in versus what you get out. So you got to be careful on how much you do that, because you are being a bit wasteful of materials. At the same time, if you need refined ore and you don't have it, it's a source. Powering bionics. Let's see. Bionic duplicants are require power banks to function. Bionic duplicants will run out of power, will become incapacitated, and require another duplicant to reboot them. Power banks can be made at the crafting station. So then the question is, for this, what I'm probably going to need to do, realistically, is I'm going to probably need a smart storage if we can make that happen. I can't because I need metal. We'll have to wait till I've got some iron. But I was gonna say is put a smart storage here as the only place that the power banks can be stored, and then have this check to see if there's at least, you know, less than a certain number of power banks, and if so, craft it. So what are your meteors like over here? They drop straight up refined iron and sandstone. Okay, that's pretty nice. Just straight up refined metal. All right. But yeah, so we got a bunch of power banks, but that's what we'll have to do is manage that. We got duplicate skills. Cannahawk already is maxed out there. We can give them another skill. They've already got supplying leveled up a bit. We might start moving them towards the spacesuit training, because it is as well as things that as we have people running around, we'll need them to be able to go out and to like vacuum and all that, and that requires the spacesuit training, and that'll be a whole thing there. I'm a little bit worried about... Let's disable that building for right now. I was going to make sure no one starts putting wood in there and powering that building, and it just going complete waste, just burning through wood really fast. What are you doing? Can I easily see... Bioductants become stressed when too much gunk builds up in their bionic parts. Regular visits to the gunk extractor are required. Okay. Where is the gunk extractor? Is that under medicine? That's that. Stations. We gotta look for this gunk extractor. Gunk extractor. Okay. Cleanses gunk buildup from duplicants bionic parts. Has a liquid output. Category flush toilet. Okay, so the liquid output, what is gunk? So gunk, if we get it super duper hot, becomes petroleum and sulfur. That's pretty cool. Gunk, if it gets really cold, becomes solid gunk. Solid gunk can go back into gunk. You can use gunk, water, and apothecary to make gear balm and polluted water. So basically, I need the gunk thing to be... One second, do you need power? I should have checked that to begin with. You do not. Okay. So, we have liquid gunk going to happen. Alright. You go to sleep? Gotcha. I hope you have a good one. I hadn't planned for... Okay, new plan here. So we're gonna take these apart. And I'll pipe down here. We're gonna make a gunk pit. We can get a swamp shard. Right now, I'm not going to take on another cybernetic person until we get our first one sorted. Just in case I horrifically fail things and they're awful and everything. That the plan here is I'm going to go over here. We're going to get this all torn up. We're going to make a gunk pit here. We can move the oxygen production to like literally right down here. Just pipe and let freeze the bottom. I can, but the idea is that I can turn around and make the gunk into polluted water, thus making it a resource. I kind of want to embrace. So yeah, that's the idea. So we'll get the liquid gunk. We can pump it down here. I also don't know what temperature it's going to come out, which I'll figure out. I don't imagine it's going to be too hot. But yeah, so we can pump it down here. And then later we'll be able to use water in the apothecary that we basically turn the gunk component into gear lubricant. Provides a small amount of gear oil. Gear oil lubricates, useful for maintaining complex machinery, protecting gear systems from damage and minimizing friction. It doesn't tell me what that is, but I'm assuming I need it. Does the machine temp say? It probably does. Nope, no it doesn't. Nope, doesn't tell us anything. Alright, that's fine. We go here. And go up here, just in the off chance they ever want to empty this. You'll be the gunk pump. Alright, so everyone's just cleaning up as best they can. Alright. Hey, Infinity Simplex, thank you for the toy stream streak. Catch the last toy streams without missing one. I do really appreciate it. Alright, so we got Donkey Dove. We'll give him our point in operating. But yeah, so you get the ideas. We're trying to get ourselves another place for the gunk. Well, for a place for the gunk. So with that, we'll go ahead and take the gunk here. Gonna run it through what's probably going to be the wall there. And put right there. And that's where the gunk comes out. Gunked toilets. Bionic duplicates can dump built-up gunk into toilets if no other options are available. This invariably clogs the plumbing. However, and must be removed before facilities can be used by other duplicates. Building a gunk extractor from the plumbing tab will ensure duplicates can dispose of waste properly. Okay, so that's good news. So they can just use up the toilets, but it does immediately put it out of order, so someone else has to fill it up. Like someone has to deal with it. That's fine. We can get that assigned over to them to use as able. All right. And we could set you, once we have liquid gunk somewhere on the map, we could set you to take gunk. Like, for right now, we'll just have a gunk pit, because I imagine it's not a high volume of gunk per instance. It's probably one of those things that gradually builds up until it becomes a problem. Alright. We're finally getting the last of the ice out of here. Make sure it still counts as a barracks. Yep. Yeah, so we can only go 10 tiles larger before it's a problem. We're going to hold off building another wood burner like I said I was going to do earlier, because now we've got this other wood burner here, and we build stuff out of wood. I don't have much surplus, but we'll get that as able. They are finally getting this area cleaned up, which is good news at least. And temperature-wise, that's in the mid-20s, and slowly building. We do have our first flocks up here. All right. And slowly this area is going to be warming up. Oh, it's interesting that's colder than the ground next to it. Weird. That's fine. Yeah, so you're gonna let that build up there. We'll set all this to be swept as well. Let's complain about no room to put it. There's not enough pike apple storage available. Okay. Medical supplies? Yeah, you can have medical supplies. Don't store mercury there. We've established don't do that. Copy settings. Paste it across. Okay. Yeah, it's got just the one freezer, or one fridge, whatever. I'm not super worried as we get more of the flocks that should start cutting into just the raw pike apple we've got over there, which should help. I'm a little concerned that you're not finishing this, because I don't want you to get all the way through this, leaving those 2 blocks unfinished, and then we start dumping gunk here, and whatever happens to it happens. Because gunk is a new material for me to deal with. That's new to the DLC, so I haven't had a bunch of practice sorting it out. Yeah, roll chat. And gunk. Yup. It is interesting, the idea... There we go, so we can set that to accept gunk. It is interesting, the idea that I could, go in here, and with the gunk, if we have a place hot enough, that we could turn the gunk into petroleum and sulfur. Like, effectively process that into something good. The challenge is petroleum turns into sour gas, which is really dangerous at just over 1,000 degrees. Like, sour gas sucks. So the gap between turning it into petroleum and then turning it into something really dangerous to deal with, you know, as extremely high temperatures is only like 200 difference. Meanwhile, sulfur would turn to liquid sulfur. The liquid sulfur would turn to sulfur gas, and the sulfur gas would just stay a sulfur gas. And it would turn back to liquid when it cools down. That's interesting. Yeah, so basically what would happen here is we would have the gunk, and we would want to get it to somewhere in the area of, like, aim for somewhere in the ballpark of, like, 850 degrees. That'd turn in petroleum and sulfur gas. And then at some point we would want, like, we'd want to get the liquid and gaseous materials out of there from the gunk. And then that would be a way of, like, gaining both sulfur and petroleum, which could be desirable. It all depends how much... Yeah, I was gonna say, it depends on how many bionics, or how many of them I would need. Really? Really, you're gonna do this to me? Just red alert it. Because fortunately, it looks like the bionics don't need a whole lot of materials that fast. $150 degrees should be doable. Well, that's the did you? Oh, you eat the battery. I was like, they licked the battery first and then they ate it. I was like, excuse me? Say what now? Yeah, pawns kill themselves very fast. Yes. Yes, they do. What's this telling me? Let's see. Bionics duplicates use a minimum of 120 kilojoules per cycle. Joules available, we have 960. And you just scarfed down like 4 of them. Oh, that's weird. Okay. So they don't breathe regularly. They breathe a ton of air in to top themselves off and then gradually drain it. So it's kind of like... Oh, here we go. We can turn that on now. It's kind of like having a dupe that just, you know, over time has a bunch of stuff. So high threshold, 90. Low threshold, 10. So we can turn that on and off. That'll start having all this ready. I don't really know. So we don't use abyssalate for much, if I recall correctly. What all do we even use abyssalate for? So abyssalate we can make into molten tungsten if we get it absurdly hot. We can make it into eco power banks. We can combine it with a ton of things to make insulate, which I remember insulate being one of the absolute most absurd things in the fact that insulate just does not, thermal conductivity of literal 0. So like just straight up ignores it. Abyssal bugs eat abyssalate. Power bank scrap can be crushed.
Thank you, they call Medoc, for subscribing for 2 months. Bezos gave me some free cash to give you.
And thank you, they call me Doc, for dropping a Prime Gaming sub to the channel. I really do appreciate that. You only get one of those to use a month and use it here, and that means a heck of a lot. So thank you so much for that. I really do appreciate it. And I do hope you're enjoying the stream. Yeah, so it sounds like I could take like a depleted one of the tanks to turn to abyssalate. So that's what I'm trying to do is before we start committing to making this. Yes, that'll give me an empty eco battery pack, which is fine. And we can recharge that to do that. There's a power bank scrap that we can do that. I think that's if we get exposed to water. They can handle a pretty significant temperature. So it looks like abyssalate really doesn't have that many uses. I am seeing that there's not many sources of abyssalate. It seems to be exclusively the power bank scrap, according to what we're seeing here. Which is somewhat alarming that I could potentially have a material I need that I may not be... Like, there's going to be a way to get it. I just don't know what it is. Yeah, so it's only under abyssalate. What about the abyssalate bug? Do you make abyssalate? No, you consume abyssalate. Yeah, so it's just... It doesn't seem to say... Like, it doesn't seem to imply we have a source of abyssalate other than mining it. But with that, I don't need to worry too much about it for right now. You know, I know it's the stuff you get between biomes. The question is, where do I get more abyssalate? Because if we make battery packs that we consume, and then it's gone, what do we do from there? That's the question I have, is where is my source to replace the abyssalate that we are gradually consuming? Because otherwise, inevitably, you would run out of abyssalate. Like even if it takes a forever amount of time. Okay, Toom informed me that she actually is staying later today. Her schedule's been all the other place. Usually I'm good about keeping up, but I was sitting there, I was like, oh man, it's an hour before, like, after I was expecting her home. It's like, just, you know, making sure everything's okay and whatever. It's like, no, I get later. Let's see. The eco ones, you recharge them. Gotcha. Okay, well, if we recharge them, don't make them forever. Let's go ahead and say 10 for now. Now the other thing is we realized we need to recharge them. So there's a power bank charger, don't be. Okay, so this is genuinely already presenting a problem. It's fine. The odds will be needing to run all of these at once are pretty low, because this is already, just these 3 machines is enough to overpower the line. That's a concern. Well, Abyssalite is the thing that's like exceedingly resistant to temperature change. So like when you look at, you got this biome here, and they got this layer of Abyssalite right there. So if we look at our temperature line, that's not going to do it. The thermal tolerance is not. Well, none of those are helping. I can use the horrible little material stuff. It's that grayish black there. Yeah, the material overlay is pretty awful to look at. It's sometimes useful when you're really trying to figure out where like a block of something is. But it's a pretty awful layout to look at. It's definitely just, oh good, I get to be stabbed in my eyeballs layout. So I'm assuming then with the where you ate these and spat them out, I'm assuming at one point, sorry, when you ate the batteries, I'm assuming at some point spits them out. Alright. Chat, bear with me for 2 seconds. I know this is the third break. We're about to hit an ad. I'm just gonna run down and put Tomb's dinner in the fridge, because she's not gonna be home for a couple of hours, and, you know, dealing with that. So I'll be back in just a minute, so I do apologize. It is on me. I just assumed her schedule was a normal day today, and her hours are different. That's on me. I'll be right back, so thank you again for tuning in. It's about to be an ad break anyway, so it's whatever. I'll be right back. Okay. Now, the problem we have here is I have to move things that have weight. And they're gonna make me want to slide. And as you can see, we're not really on there well, but it is what it is. Hop out. Okay. Like I'm someone who'd actually talk through all that kind of stuff. Because I was gonna put up a review that said, well, great. The bot's busted. That I perhaps have underestimated you. That's on me. That was disrespectful. I should have given you more credit. Credit where it's due. You are definitely still a menace and you're still threatening. But not you. She's a jerk. Okay,
just kind
sorry. Sorry about that. All right. So hopefully no more interruptions. That's yeah, that's just me not keeping up with the schedule and all that. And making dinner for my wife hours before she's supposed to be home. She did give me the schedule. I just missed that today was not a normal schedule day. Oh, wait. This thing recharges them 20 at a time? Hold up. Okay, well that changes. Alright. There. If it recharges them 20 at a time, let's do them 20 at a time. Yeah, no, she's had a ridiculous week. I feel bad for her. The company she works for, it's something like 3 people have all had like kind of unexpected medical things come up. Like unrelated to work, just really out there. And some of them have been pretty minor, some of them have been pretty serious. Like the worst one was a pulmonary not epilepsy, embolism. My brain doesn't want to put the word. Basically, they had a blood clot in their lung, which is like, oh, that's not a minor problem. Embolism, thank you. My brain was trying to add a Y to the end of it, which is why I wasn't working. So I was like trying to add the Y, and then my brain's going, nope, that's not right. Yeah, so it was one of our coworkers had that, and it's like, that is not a minor thing. that is a reassessing some stuff kind of thing, because you're getting knocked down a peg for a while. So there's that, and then there's like one who got into a car accident. It's just like really just bad luck of a lot of things all happening in a short window. And then they had 2 new hires, and one of them just straight up didn't work out. That, you know, they brought the person on, it's like they're just not getting it, and it's been like longer than anyone else has taken, where we've reached that point where it's not like a lack of like a lack of people being patient about. It's like, for whatever reason, this person is just really not managing, and so they eventually, the person left on their own, but it was one of those things they're like, yeah. And so it was kind of one of those things of just, you're down a bunch of people, and then you were already trying to, you know, get new people in, and then they don't work out the same time. And it's just like really, really bad luck. What is your complaint here? Is that the pipe damaged? It is the pipe damage. So it's a little bit too cold that the pipe is getting minor damage. They are repairing it before it gets serious. But yeah. Oh, hey. No. That's gonna be a problem, isn't it? Okay, so the best way we can deal with that is I'll put a container here for the solid gunk and let them collect it and put it in the container, and then we just kick it out of the container and then get rid of the container. Yeah, so it's still a little bit too cold here. The good news, it does appear that the wood supply is gaining. And thank you for the follow. Welcome to the stream. Now, we're probably gonna have to prioritize this higher. But they probably won't work on it at all. We'll prioritize that higher too. Because I want to get the gunk away from here, because what'll happen is otherwise, as this warms up, it'll melt back into the liquid form, and then it'll be gunk all over the floor. And I'm imagining gunk is probably unpleasant for dupes to run through, or otherwise, at least, inconvenient. Oh, I haven't checked on how this water's doing in a while. Yeah, it's fine. It is properly melting everything here now. Hey, Flat Joseph, thank you so much for the raid. Hope you had yourself a good stream. But welcome in, raiders. Yeah, so we are letting this sorry. There we go. We are letting this like slowly melt everything here and clear out this whole biome. Just letting it go. Because later on we'll be able to pump all the water out there. It's fine. It's just a little heavily mixed with mercury. What could possibly go wrong? There's no major environmental or whatever concerns with, you know, combining these things. All right, so sweep those, sweep that. We'll get it all in the container. And we can just leave it there. And honestly, I could just let it get to the point it'll turn to liquid, it'll break the container, and I just won't care about it. Alright. Let's see, the planet has blown up. I think we're past the environmental concerns. Yeah, you're not wrong. It's fine. Alright, so all this is going fine, that's all going fine. They are slowly cleaning up. We no longer have any ice, at least in this area here. We actually, if I can get, oh wait. We have 7 dupes? We need one more, we need like, yeah. So let's go here to furniture. There's a mess table. Do we actually have fancy decorations yet? Yeah, because we got the decor here. Yeah, no, we don't have the fancy decor yet. Because for the Great Hall or whatever, that technical storage containers for solid gunk. Oh, I already went through here and chose the gunk, unchecked it, and then copy pasted the settings. And then these ones have liquefiable as their only thing marked, so we should be good. You don't have to check them one by one. If you grab the settings, you drop it there, it'll kick it all out the moment you apply the setting. I've used that as an abuse when I'm doing a couple different things. So no one's crafting that much, but that's because it's not prioritized on anyone. Meanwhile, research is coming along. Right, we're working on the air tank right now, and that's She-Wolf who's doing that. They breathe a lot of oxygen. I'm not sure if you saw when our cyborg person was breathing, they stood there and you could physically see the oxygen closing in on them. Yeah, so we're just stuck waiting for all that to go. We got the ready to rock and roll, so we're just kind of wasting a little bit of our energy here because this is just idling and slowly draining its power. It is also creating yet more heat, and this will create more heat, and that'll probably create more heat, and this will create more heat. So all that should continue to make this area warmer little by little. Like, part of it is we just keep trading off heat by running through that door constantly, which is going to be what just happens. It is a little interesting that with how infrequently they have to breathe.
Thank you, the very last Lardine, for subscribing for 17 months.
Thank you, the very last
number.
Sardine, for the tier 2 sub. That's 17 months you've been subbed to channel. I do appreciate the continued support, as well as, you know, doing above and beyond in support. And also, on your 410 stream streak, catch the last 410 streams without miss a single one. So thanks so much. Oh! That's what you're saying. So they literally like kick out a microchip like that. Like when they rest, sleep, whatever. So they kind of idly make the things to make them stronger as they sleep. You know, the equivalent of sleep. Alright. What does make me curious is so they consume oxygen at about 100 grams a second. But I am curious. I don't see anything mentioning the getting rid of oxygen. Or sorry, getting rid of like CO2 or whatever. So for you, we could do suit training booster, and I'll give you more athletics. You have the tiding booster, which gives you more there. You could also be made into a separate construction person, which I'm not actually seeing listed here. Huh. We have the extreme digging booster. That's weird. I'm not seeing the construction one. Either way. But yeah, so it looks like we'd be able to take the microchips and make one of these boosters to perchance get this person running even faster. Let's go for the suit training booster. That's going to take microchips. So I'm going to say make one of those to expand on our person. Let's see, is there any research needed for the building one? I'm not sure. Like, unfortunately, while they have it, like, have searching here, there's not one here for other stuff going on. So it's not super. So you got the gear balm. There's not really a great way to search a lot of this. Like, you have to kind of already know. There's another station you can build that makes different boosters. You don't remember what it's called, though. Gotcha. So we got the soldering station. For right now, that's fine, I think. We'll work on getting this person really good. Because it almost feels like the cybernetic people will be particularly good at running around to move stuff around in areas that are less hospitable. I'll grab a mallow seed at least gives me a seed versus a single. Well, actually, I think the spore also is a seed. It wouldn't have mattered. Either way, we're going to get one of those, probably not do much. Yeah, so the bionic power is slowly going down. We are insufficient material for that one. Do we have someone we could prioritize to crafting? Wherever crafting is up here. Isn't crafting operating in this game? So you cook and then operate. I don't have anyone who's primarily just operate. But that said, my cook should be running out of ingredients to cook with that we care about. Meanwhile, he said there's another thing for making. There's a crafting station we have not done yet. Which could be used. There's a lot of good stuff on the crafting station. Right now, I'm scared to put anything else on this power grid. It can already overload as is. And I just need them to work on getting these done. Oh, dupe gained a skill. So you can get advanced schematics. So that gives you the athletics. Grinding gears, penalty reduction, booster slots. Okay, and it does actually increase the morale need. Yeah, so keep working on your thing. All right. Yeah, I think operating was the crafting one. We'll see. Our food is still doing amazingly. We are getting more animals slowly. Go ahead and wrangle you to get you up there. See if we got any more of them running around here. Oh, at some point we fed the plant. At some point we fled the plant because there's hydrogen gas up there. A little surprised you didn't get one up there. It's still fine as long as like they slowly increase the population up here. That's okay. Apparently dropped it along the way because of air. That's fair. Alright. Wood's still not amazing shape with the two of these going, so let's not add more of a burden on our wood yet. I'm assuming once we get more of the phloxes up here, we'll start seeing our wood supply get into a lot better shape. And we'll be able to use more of the wood burners for the time being, since they don't really have a good source for like coal or a lot of the other ones. We have mined a good ways down here. But yeah, it's just a pocket of CO2. So realistically, to get this done, I'm going to have ways of getting rid of the CO2. It is possible if we're getting a lot of spare oxalite, we could put like the oxalite sconce down here to start shoving the CO2 around. I'll put one of them down here. I'll put a pair, I lied. I'll put a pair of them down here. That should give us a pocket of air. And I do think they'll start shoving some of this up here to these. Eventually, we'll probably want to deprioritize those, but that would let me start digging down farther. Okay, I'll take these. The down ones get a lower priority, so it's less like people get trapped and hurt themselves. And we are continuously cooling down this whole area in here. I need to figure out something to do with all this. I can make an area offshoot to let most of this out, which wouldn't be awful. Like, okay, let's actually do that. Let's not do this. Let's go over here. We can dig right over here. We can basically start mining an area just to dump the liquid into. Because it's that major eye irritation that makes them stop moving for a second. It's pretty awful. So hopefully as we do that, we can get rid of a lot of that liquid down off to the side. Do like the whole Terraria thing where you give yourself like a little pocket of air to breathe on one side or a little pocket of water to dump off. Meanwhile, before I forget, we were going to get the fern going over here. Now, what I can't remember is how tall we need that. So we can go over here. I'm going to go ahead and just go right for the hydroponic tiles. We're not ready for actually doing anything with that. I want to see if I can put the oxifern down there. But if I can do that, we can start doing the oxifern here. It's suffocating. Yeah, that's the struggle. Yes, I've already gotten it deep enough now where the water isn't up there, because I'm trying to get rid of mostly the ethanol, because of the major eye irritation. Cool, and we got those down there to start eventually getting goodies out of it. Right, that's... The chlorine guys are over there. You're still just doing your thing. Melting all of this. Eventually it'll go dormant. I'll build a bridge across to study it. Okay, so we're starting to get the oxygen here. So hopefully soon enough they won't have to drop the whole way down, or whole way up again. Okay. Can't tell if that pulsing sound is the song or something in game. Reach 100 cycles with at least one living dupe. Yep. That's fine. And you have some food has gone bad. That's not unexpected. We've got all this going by. You got people complaining about long commutes. That's not surprising. They are going all the way down here to mine and all that. That's pretty standard. There, we're getting this pocket of air down here. That'll be good. Alright, sorry about it. Bannerlord is getting a naval expansion. That is one I did not anticipate. I know there was talk about Bannerlord adding something to their game in the near future. That's not what I would have guessed. Alright, so let's not worry about these tiles. Those won't actually help our problem. We mine these out, then I'll go down here and make that a little deeper, then go here and make it deeper. You get the idea. We're gonna just, like, I'm literally just continuously putting the effort in until I can get it to there. Vikings and everything. I mean, that makes sense considering a lot of the different factions they've had. Alright, so we're getting there. That should help get the sopping wet debuff off of them. It should help get the major eye irritation off of them. So little by little we'll get that all sorted out. Okay. Temperature is going up. I am curious when they did that, like what temperature that came out. Alright, so we've got that. Does the oxifern fit? It does. They're not going to plant that yet, because until we have water there, it won't work. And for us to have water there, we have to be at over 32 degrees Fahrenheit. But that does mean we have like our little carbon dioxide pit down here. Carbon dioxide comes in. We'll get whatever the fern are here, and all that going. Eventually, our dupes will become a source of the polluted water. Okay. I mean, what your dupes do? Like, literally, your dupes make liquid appear into your world by needing to use the restroom. Oh, the Vikings versus Vike Queens? Yeah, I gotcha. That piece of that cookie. Yep. Sometimes you just gotta pun. Alright. I'd like to get you up here. And slowly getting ourselves a little bit of hydrogen going. You put an announcement for the trailer in Discord? Cool, cool. I'll definitely check that out after stream. Sounds good. All right. Just need to carve just a little bit more out of here. This is one thing, like, and this is the same mistake I made this round that I make almost every time, is always make my, like, one big column because I'll be like, cool, the CO2 will get down here nice and easy, they can use the fireman's pole the whole way down, but what ultimately ends up happening is people carrying stuff drop it, and then the door opens and it goes all the way down here, and then they have to lug it all the way back up, and it becomes more and more of a headache. What is happening right now? What interaction is occurring where this is bubbling a bunch and all that? It's not... I mean, the salt water's pretty cold. Is it the salt water freezing? No? There's some interaction here. Something is either... It looks like something's evaporating to me, but it's really hard to tell what exactly is going on here. Okay, that won't be necessary. So we don't need that spot. We just gotta let that process for a minute. Then we can sweep up whatever's here, and that should handle it. I don't think we'll be able to mop that. Oh, we can. Yeah, so someone can mop it to no longer be in a liquid state, and then we're gonna go back to digging, because at least then they aren't going, you know, sopping wet, eye irritation, all those other debuffs. We can get rid of all that. So I just basically made a pocket to dump all the liquid in to get it out of my way. Again, the same type of thing you do in Terraria. You dig into a lake and realize the lake's a problem. You find our opening, you just punch a hole and just let all the water dump out in there so you don't have to worry about constantly like jumping out before you suffocate. Alright, what do we got this time? Nothing we want. Go ahead and give me the decorated plant I probably won't use. And our supply teleporter, all this is melting down here, which is not my doing because I haven't got the abyssal light down here. Look, make this a 9. Someone needs to build that. Our poor bionic person is getting ready to run out of juice. Okay, right now for a minute, schedule, alright, priorities. Right now you're gonna deprioritize cooking, and I need you to operate. I'm assuming that's operate that does that, because there's not a crafting skill. But I really genuinely need you to get those battery banks going, because our poor cybernetic person... Oh, these are all full now. They're all full, and that's nothing but liquefiables like snow and ice. That's just how much we have in this run so far. Don't worry about if I extend that farther once we punch through here. Okay. So you want to use the Rock Crusher. Rock Crusher's only a 5 priority. So, weirdly, despite me setting this to a 9 priority, it's not happening. Let's unset that. So yeah, you're just waiting to do that. It just needs abyssalite. We've got abyssalite. We got tons of abyssalite. I need someone to make the batteries and recharge them, please. Our poor mech friend here is running quickly out of steam and is gonna have bad time after that point. Why are you doing that at a higher priority? Like this is set to a 9. You can reach it. It's a 9. It requires duplicate operation. That requires duplicate operation. We have the abyssalite. We should have more abyssalite than I know what to do with for the time being. I've carved through so many of these areas. Oh, we got another volcano of some kind or whatever down here. Hydrogen vent. That's pretty fun. A hydrogen vent down there might be workable. What temperature do you release the hydrogen at? 932 degrees. That actually has interesting implications that might be useful. And the reason that has interesting implications that might be useful is where we made the comment about the gunk temperatures and all that. 930 degrees would be right in that sweet spot to turn the gunk into petroleum and sulfur without also taking the gunk and, you know, turning into sour gas. So there's curiosities there. That it could even be a thing later on that we make a sealed room here. We pump the gunk into that room to a certain level. Let that continue to put out the hydrogen to slowly warm up the room with like double layer insulation on it. It starts turning into petroleum and all that. And then once it, you know, we can have a pump that'll like recycle where it goes, okay, I've detected not gunk. Pump the liquid out. Petroleum goes this way. The sulfur goes the other way. You know, whatever. Or we just leave it in there till, well, I mean, we'd have to patrol it. We'd have to put the effort into separating it out, which is something you end up needing to do with a lot of those processes. So we can go here, copy settings. And now I can all accept snow and ice again. I don't know what to do to make you go more. You're the only crafting bench at a 9 priority. 9 is the highest. And you're doing other stuff. Like, I need the iron, but you're only a 5 priority. So I don't understand why you're not doing it. Ah, you need electrical engineering schematic skill. That's the problem. That's also a big problem. So we'll have Luxray go for it. Actually, wait, I have someone who's got electrical engineering. Who has electrical engineering? Donkey Duff has electrical engineering. Donkey Duff's already the one I just said is assigned to this. So, Donkey Duff can do this. Why? What, like literally you're set to operating max, that's 9, you're 5. I don't understand the logic the game's doing, because it's not like I don't have abyssalite in range. I'm willing to bet we got abyssalite right here. Yeah, we've got abyssalite inside these cabinets right here. There's at least 2,000 or 3,000 in there. And I think you were 100 a pop? 200 a pop. So there's at least 5 of those batteries in that cabinet alone. So it's not having access to it. I don't understand. And meanwhile, we can make this priority 5 here, so you can actually catch those up. It's unclear to me why this is not happening right now. It says it's waiting for materials, fair enough. But considering I've maxed out that number, why are the materials not actually getting there when they're available? And it's set to priority 9. Like, why are you cooking right now? Cooking is a lower priority for you than operating. There's something going on in this building that I'm missing. It's disabled. Why were you disabled? Okay, we figured it out. Building was set to disable. Oh, is the automation wire going over you? Is that what's happening? No, it's not the automation wire. Maybe it wasn't disabled. Did I just disable there a second ago? It doesn't matter. He's doing it. Is that a bionic skill? No, it's just operating. They just made a new skill. They just like kind of got your operating stuff and they applied it to one of those. I didn't realize you could zoom out that far. Oh, I can only do it when I don't know how I got to that screen where I was able to zoom all the way. The point is now we can make the batteries because I believe if we haven't had our cybernetic person collapse, they're probably going to do it nighttime. There they go. Low gear oil. They need a lubrication station. Okay, lubrication station. I forgot about that. Which apparently lubrication station is not under station, despite the name containing lubrication. Medical? Yeah, lubrication station. Uses pythoi oil or crude oil to keep... I don't have those things that you mentioned. I don't have oil or pythoi oil or whatever that was. Wasn't that one of the things I can make with gunk? Yeah, that's what I was saying, is I think it was you'd take the gunk, and then there was some, like, yeah, so you could use the gunk plus water to make that, using the apothecary. So we need the apothecary. I must not have the apothecary. I think it was plant. Alright, so we're still working on that. The apothecary should be wherever medicine was. Okay, so we'll need to get that. No, fine, we'll just do it now. I want to finish getting the air thing, because that's not hooked up to anything to do anything yet. Makes gear bomb from gunk? Yeah. We'll need to research that. That's on She-Wolf. It doesn't matter, you're about to collapse from lack of power very soon. At least now we're actually working on this. Wait, do we not get any of the batteries back? Oh, right, you only produce 300 watts at a time, that takes 480. So, you physically cannot charge it while it's going on. I hope that that still works when it is pulsing on and off. It's really hard to tell if I'm just literally wasting my time. Seems like you have the oxygen issues in place. How would you fix it? Oh, we fixed that a while ago. So it was mostly the ferns down here. Like it was resolving itself. It was just very slow. Ooh, good. This is, oh, it went down here as liquid, now it's hardening again. Yeah, it's the same thing as last time. Alright, so the problem is this takes more power than the wood burner generates. And what I can't tell is if I'm making any progress recharging this battery, or if it's like literally wasting its time. It doesn't give me like, oh no, I think, is that, no, that's just an on-off. Oh yeah, no, down here it's carbon dioxide. That little pocket down there. So they go down there and they hold their breath until they get up here, and then it's oxygen, because carbon dioxide's heavier. So I can't tell if we're making any progress here at all. It just doesn't make it clear. I think that might be a gauge there that's saying it's filling. It's hard for me to tell what's going on with it. Alright, so you got more of them grooming over there. So basically, I need more power here, is the answers. I need more power here. And realistically, to do that, I'm gonna need to have a stronger wire. I'm a little concerned about just chucking another wood burner on there. So conductive wire. Oh, that requires, okay, that sucks. That sucks a lot, because I need that. So can you link the burner to a battery to tell it to enable the battery gets full? So I believe the way the battery works is I believe I can have it send the green signal at 90. I could put like a NOT gate here. Yeah, I could put a wire up here, a NOT gate, so it goes there, it sends a signal at high signal. Oh, but what'll happen is the moment it drops below 90, it'll switch the signal, I think. No, because it'd be red. Sorry, no, it would flip it, it'd be green, and it'd stay green until red. Yeah, so we could do that, and the way we would do that is here. Is I need the NOT gate. And I need the automation wire, LED. You'd go up here, and down there. And I believe that would work, that when it hits 90% battery, that would turn on, turning this on, and it would stay on until it hits 10%, and it would turn the thing off. We can try that. It is eating my limited refined metal supply, but it is what it is. Critical power level. I can't help you right now. I'm trying to solve your problems. Go to bed, though, so you pass out in bed. Duplicant skills, rhetorical. Well, there's your exosuit training. It'll probably want to stop on the training there, because you're going to need stuff to give you better mood bonuses and all that before that helps out anymore. And what's your temperature? Still sitting around 25. This room is sitting around 40, like upper 30s, 40s. I'd like to get another wood heater going to, one, help with the heat, two, make our people happier. Bionic incapacitated. It's fine. Give batteries. Researching booster. Let's see, does not currently have this type of booster. This will be one of 3, so that would give them the researching one. I don't actually really want to give them the researching one right now. We just took it because I want it more than the other things. Okay, so as soon as they finish building that will be good. Probably also need to wire this over the same way. Worry about that in a minute. Okay, so that means no power's going here. As long as that's green. Once this hits 90% capacity, which should be a second now, this should kick on. It should run until it's at 10% power. Yeah, so it looks like this might be a gauge here showing me how fully charged that battery is. Gonna turn off here in a moment. Yep. Yes, I think it is actually recharging okay. It's really hard to tell. I do wish it showed me some information here that I could get at. So you wonder how they even made this? They have some engineers on staff? Let's see, it's fun when things make sense, but you do always find the early to mid game somehow over pressure folks into incapacitating. Well, I think the problem here is this is just not communicating well what's going on. I think that's a gauge there. It's fine to have, like, tells on the screen, like, little things. But you also definitely want to have tells that are just, like, you know, very blatant, being like, hey, this battery is at 30%. It is actually charging. You aren't totally wasting your time. You know, it is one of those things that once you learn it, it's fine. But right now, I'm sitting here kind of scratching my head being like, am I wasting my time? I don't really know. So what I'm going to need is I'm going to need to replace this wire. We're going to have more power here. That's what it's going to boil down to. So if I remember correctly, you have heavy gauge wire. And this is really ugly, but it supports a ridiculous amount of power. Versus you have conductive wire, which also supports a pretty significant amount of power. Not quite as much, but it can go through walls and on. So I'm going to move to like the really powerful wire. And honestly, I might take my chances of putting down a second wood burner. I do expect that to be a problem. But at the moment, other than having a person jump in a hamster wheel and run in the hamster wheel, I don't really have a good alternative. We're gonna get one, but we're not quite there yet. Right, and what we could do here is I'm gonna need more of the automation wire. I probably won't have enough there, I'll probably have to switch it. That's fine. Okay. Only producing 300 watts? You don't need that? So when you're looking at this, you have the potential load here. You do actually have to care about that. So the potential load, if all machines are running on this at the same time, is the fact it could damage the line. Now, assuming we were using the power constantly, you would be correct here. But we have 300, 600 watts. It still would be fine. But the problem is that draws 400 and 400. The battery, I believe, can put out literally as much power as you need. We can get the load on this line to be over the amount it can handle. I've fried a lot of wires in this game. You basically just, the only thing you care about is the potential load. It's not your power generation that matters. Air pump is not running? This is true, but I'm gonna want to turn that on soon anyways. So I might as well get it fixed right while I'm here. Because otherwise I'll connect it later after forgetting. And then watch the wire fry. Okay. Hatch a critter more from an egg. I don't see the alternate version. We haven't fed it there. No, they all look the same to me. But yeah, no, I definitely want to future-proof it, though. Because we are having that CO2 level slowly climb here, which makes sense. We would expect it to climb. Alright, I want both those to 8 because I want to prioritize this power over that power. One the higher level has different horns? Is it... I mean, that's just the... No, they both have the normal horns. These are still growing. That one's cut up. Like, this is nearly fully grown. That's in progress of growing. It's just had its horns clipped. Because we're cutting off their horns because their horns are made out of wood. Alright. Oh yeah, no, you're all good. Yeah, no, I'm not sure. It's entirely possible that popped out and immediately got tossed over here because it was an extra and then is being eaten. Because that's what we're doing with the extras. What are the alternate versions of this? So you've got all of them. Oh, is it just literally the only version of that? It seems to imply there's only one version of Phloxes. I don't have anything else in captivity. Only showing one version of that. What about the Mammoths? Only showing one version of that. Got the crab things down here. Yeah, so the crabs have different versions. It could also be one of the shine bug things. Then maybe one of the shine bugs or whatever up here. What am I looking at? Ah, liquid carbon dioxide. So we got enough carbon dioxide for here. Because it could be a shine bug. Yeah, and I do like Cly games. They're good. Meanwhile, we had... You gained a level. We'll go ahead and give you another point in farming. You gained a level. Okay. I'm gonna start working you towards operating to get the last level there. We are trying to get this all going online. I need more of you bringing wood over here. As we get enough wood in here, then we can potentially get both these running at once. We've got a bunch of wood, it's just someone needs to carry it over there. And those are priority 8. The only one higher is this one, which is priority 9. And most of my other stuff isn't that high a priority. Unless at all, do you get to set to 9? No, you did get to set 9, that's good. Alright, are you getting good progress down here? Yeah, you are. Alright, so at this point we can make all of those 5. Okay, so got the teleporter thing here. This might be the other side of it. We're not seeing too much down below. That is a nice, comfortable temperature there. We already looked at what that geyser was. I think that was a hydrogen geyser at 900 degrees. That would be fun to take advantage of later, but right now, I don't have good ways to deal with something quite that hot. That's fine, you'll figure it out. Alright, so we're working on all that. That's all good. Part of the issue we have now is the bionic person was one of our main haulers. Rhetorical answers our other one. And now a lot of that's not getting done because our bionic person needs batteries to function and does not have batteries. Yes, there's one thing of wood. I need more wood moved here. I need it to not come in like 1 and 2 pieces. I need a proper amount of wood moved here. There you go, 200 wood. That's what we want to see. Yeah, it seems like this is actually never going to reach what I need. So good news, that is filling up. So in theory, that should have a full battery soon. Yeah, no, I've only got about 1 ton of wood, and we're getting it, but now we're starting to spread it too thin. But I don't have a reliable other form of power yet. I could have people running the hamster wheel, but that means a bunch of other tasks don't get done because they just spend all day running in the hamster wheel. On the plus side, they are slowly getting those eco packs. The weird thing was this implied it could accept a bunch. Let's go ahead and for right now, let's cancel the rest of these and have it just focus on the battery. Let's get that charged. So it's almost full. That should get her bionic duplicate back online. Yeah, breathable environments down there. It's getting pretty far down there. They do have the one fossil way down here. That's okay. Do I need 8 batteries for the bionic? Yeah, no, it was a thing that got labeled. It was on one of these. It was acting like just the way the descriptor, it implied it could do 20 batteries at once. I was like, what? I don't think that was correct though. But like I said, I like Oxygen Not Included. I do feel like the bionic DLC, we've got quite a few things that it's not like. Where you've got the journal here that can give you all sorts of really good information, we've hit quite a few gaps in that journal for the bionic stuff that has left me going, I don't understand what you want me to do. So I do feel like there is a couple of misses in there. So what we're going to need to do is get better power. If we look at our power options right now, we do have wood. Coal I don't have available on any real quantity on the map. Let's double check to make sure I'm not a liar. I don't think we've got, like, I know we've gotten a little bit of coal. No, I am a liar. We haven't found coal. I know we saw coal up here somewhere, like not a lot of it. Yeah, there's some coal here. Like right there's a little bit of coal. There's a little bit of coal on this side. But I don't even think it's this biome. I think it's literally this building. There's a mini biome just right there. That's not enough coal to do anything with. So coal's not going to do us. I have yet to find a single bit of natural gas on this map so far. Petroleum will come up once we start getting oil, or if we can start converting the gunk into petroleum. Hydrogen, I've got a couple of options. We are starting to get hydrogen up here from that plant. It's just 1 though, and that's not going to be enough to support any proper power production. One thing we're also going to want to do start hollowing that out to give more space at the time being till I'm ready to use it. So we are starting to get some hydrogen. So there's a digging booster. I'll grab that. Oh, you're gonna die. Hey, right now, we have a battery. Just put the battery in them. Just put the battery in them. There you go, Rhetorical. Save that person's life. Oh, there's a charge up time? I didn't realize it would take a while to reboot them. Okay. So that's basically your time limit. I was like, it's weird that we could have a dupe basically in that situation forever and it be fine. It's not. That pretty much what happens is eventually, because they can't breathe, their air tank runs out and they die. Yeah, so I just, like, the worst thing is we made the battery. We had it. It's just no one was dropping by to recharge them. Because I didn't, like, you know, it was a standard priority. Other priorities were higher. So those got taken care of instead. So what is that? So what is what? You're gonna have to be more specific. The person died. They died because they were a bionic and their battery ran out, and then they eventually suffocated because they need it. Like, they don't need to breathe as often as other dupes. They go like a long time and then they breathe in a ton of air and then go a long time again. And it was just their battery, like their oxygen depleted. I didn't realize it. But that's kind of the stuff we're learning here. We'll get another bionic person. So you can't reboot them? No, now they're dead. I had to reboot them before, but once their oxygen ran out, they died. Why are you not building this now? Why does it feel like I put things at 9, and the people responsible for that task just do other things? Like, that's not going. Where is our construction person? Okay, so they're probably heading to bed. It was probably their dinner time, then they're heading to bed, which is why it's not getting built. Yeah, so that way we can get them buried so people can deal with that. So wait, did that give me their suit training booster? So, like, awkwardly when they died, I got their skills to give to someone else? Is that what I'm understanding has occurred here right now? That in this dystopian thing, we just basically took their talent from their corpse to give on to someone else later? This is gonna sound bad, but then what's really... Oh, wait, I guess I do have levels. Okay. I was about to be like, wait, if I could just give their levels to someone else, what's the consequence? Like, oh, right, they have the levels on how many of those boosters they can put in them that isn't attached to their boosters. Right. That's what that's about. Makes sense. Meanwhile, I'm not sure what you're doing. You're mining down there? Okay, so you've got this. Okay, so memorial. Please bury that person. Alright, so we'll try another bionic. I do feel like, honestly, for what you get out of it, it feels like you're putting way more effort into it than I feel like it really benefit. Oh, there's gunk down here? Okay, whatever. Is that from when they died? Did they leave gunk on the ground? No. Oh, I bet you the gunk was going through here, the pipe burst, and it leaked. Still weird that it got off the sides over here. Unless maybe there's just gunk down here. Like, I haven't looked around to see if there's just, like, gunk in the biome. Oh, good, there's oxypern. And saltwater geyser there. Just chilling. Yeah, so that's all comfortable down there. The saltwater geyser, so getting 203 degrees for the water coming out. We're just going to keep on tunneling on down. But the good thing here, so these are the pips. Pips are cool because if you give them a seed, they will plant the seed. And, sorry, if you leave a seed in their area, they'll plant the seeds. So what I could do is I could tear up some of these seeds here and leave a seed here for the oxifern, and then run around in circles and eventually plant the oxifern. There's cool stuff you can do with that. I'm not gonna worry about mealworms. And so that's kind of a cool thing where you can make a natural like pit down here. Now the problem is almost all my plants require really cold weather like these up here. And while it'd be really awesome to offload that effort to the pip, the issue with the pip is if we look at their stuff, they actually can't handle it being particularly that cold. They do like it well above freezing, so 50 Fahrenheit's kind of the cutoff of where they're comfortable. 49 straight up kills them. So if we look at our plants up here, the problem we have with these plants is for these plants to do okay, they need it to be no warmer than 32 degrees Fahrenheit. So we got a gap. Technically, the pip can survive in the range that the plant can grow, but it'll be very unhappy. And so you can make it work, or what you can do is if you got an area that you're breeding pips, maybe a couple pips perhaps get released in inhospitable climates that you happen to want them to plant things, and if they make it and they do the planting, great, and if not, well, you get yourself a pip witch. Might just need to go ahead and feed people adorable animals. And I believe you eat the arbor trees, right? I think that's your food source. Yeah, so yeah, so you can eat the arbor trees and you make dirt. You can eat the thimbleweed and you make dirt. And you can eat the bonbon trees and you make dirt. You've got pips and cuddle pips. Yeah, so pips are known to bury seeds. What about cuddle pips? Okay. So the cuddle pips, they just apparently your dupes will occasionally hug them and it just makes them happy. Yeah, so I want like regular old pips. Now, that said, if we get the temperature inside our base up here an acceptable temperature, I could see keeping a little pip place inside our area to breed the pips for purposes of having them plant seeds on my behalf. And I used to remember the exact like thing where it's something like you did one tile you wanted your stuff, 1, 2, 3 tiles of stuff you didn't care, 1 tile. And I remember there was a trick where you would, I don't remember the specifics, you would have like your 3 tiles here and what you wanted to plant on. And there was a way to, like remember there's a cost to it, there was a way to get it so you could put the material in that last space. Not as a block, and then when you like remove stuff or like the pressure changed, it would go to release that material and it would make it a solid block. I remember there was a whole glitch around doing that to artificially make a natural biome. It was a whole thing. Use doors? Was that like... That's what I'm trying to remember. It was something like... Again, you do 1, 2, 3, and then you had a door there. Oh, was it that you would put the block of what you wanted there, 1, 2, 3, to make it so it couldn't move anywhere? You put a door there. I can't remember if you closed the door and then deleted the door, or opened the door and deleted the door. Let's see, so are pips an answer for dirt usage? So pips, well, a lot of animals will actually give you dirt. That they eat their food and then they poop out dirt, whether it's polluted or otherwise. Just remove the door while surrounded. Gotcha, so you'd have your 1, 2, 3, have the door there, and then just whatever you want to be a block there, and it just go away. Like and it'd make the block, and then you'd, remove the 3 blocks, or keep them depending on what you put there. And then you'd shift over. I can't remember if it's like 2 or 3 tiles, and you'd repeat it because they can only have, I think it's 4 plants per 12 tiles or whatever. So it's kind of a thing where you'd be like 1, 2, 3, 1, 1, 2, 3, 1, 1, 2, 3, and just like that was like the space. I could be off as like might be 1, 2. I remember there's like a whole strategy. I used to know it because we did it in a run or two. Why are you making the ladder endlessly and ignoring everything else? Don't do it, Pip. You've got so much to live for. And you're going into a climate completely inhospitable for your sustained life. Now, granted, since we've had the Pips released, there is a chance we will get the Pip or the Pip egg to show up here. Yeah, Pip's own plant, there was another plant within 6 tiles, you think. I thought it was more than 1 plant within 6 tiles. Like, remember there's a whole pattern to it.
Thank you, Dragonfall97, for subscribing for 15 months.
Thank you, Dragonfall, for the tier 1 sub. I really do appreciate that. Been subbed to the channel for 15 months, and it means a heck of a lot. So thank you so much. I do really appreciate that. I do hope you enjoy your advertisement previewing as well as access to the emotes. Yeah, no, I could very well be wrong in a lot of the specifics. Because like I said, I haven't set that up in forever. Because it is one of those things... You'd have like the area here. You would set it up where you get the blocks in there, and you'd chuck a Pip in there, and just like leave the cabinet with the seeds you want. So you'd tell the cabinet accept these seeds, and then once you got everyone in there, you'd say okay, kick it back out. Copy settings and paste settings. Alright. But yeah, no, I remember it was a whole thing. You haven't played since like 2020? Yeah. Just melting it all. Melting the whole biome out by just letting that geyser... Okay, so the geyser is officially dormant. With that in mind, we can go over here. I want to have... This is where the ice ends? Okay. What we'll do here is I'm going to go ahead and do 2 mesh... Like a couple mesh tiles there. We can just make the bridge across here. And a couple mesh tiles there. We're going to queue you up for analysis at a high priority. We're going to open that side as well so that we can dump that on the seals. I mean, it is what it is. There's no second part. Basically, I don't want it to all go out one side, so we're going to dump it out both sides to keep that from being a whole thing. Alright. So you're working on all that. This is... Okay, this is starting to properly warm up. We're seeing like 20-something degrees up here in some places. This is still maintaining right around that 25, 26 area. This area down here is still getting cold. This should warm up. I've got a bunch of equipment down there running. And this is staying close to 15. Whereas outside of this, we're dealing with like minus 30s, minus 40s, minus 20s. Okay, so you got up here. Alright. Because I'm trying to make an area just for that hydrogen to go while we wait for enough to collect to matter. Choose a duplicate. Okay, so you've got a digging expert extreme with decreased athletics, which is about as bad as you can get. Run speed 30%, like minus 30% is pretty awful. Yeah, so both of these have those and have things I don't need. So unfortunately, we're not gonna take that. I'll take the oxalite. It's just free air. Was that a room? Yeah, so when you go around, you can discover rooms. So yeah, there's a room here. I don't think there's much in that one of interest. This one has like a teleporter thing that we can move stuff between the asteroids. We got this one is for one of the mechanics in the game, as far as like the dream thing or whatever. You know, this one here had loot in it. You get all that. There's one in the upper right. Yeah, I remember this one. There was I think this was just a nice room. I can't remember what that one was, but they all have like different purposes and all that. You're not restricted, are you? Okay, because I do want you to go check out that water geyser while it's dormant. When you have the chance. Granted, they're straight up just blasting down here. Yeah, so we got that warm biome. We're not seeing any more abyssal, or, yeah, so, sorry, Nutrimine or whatever. We're gonna punch down here farther. You haven't played this since downloading one of the earlier versions to try it out? It was good, but very difficult. Yeah, so it is one of those things that, like, there's a lot of balance and juggling you do in it. And sometimes the things you run into can sneak up on you. Like, temperature to me was always the one that sneaks up on you the most. That, like, everything seems like it's fine and nothing's going particularly bad. And then suddenly you find yourself in a lot of trouble. Where, like, you suddenly just start noticing some of your plants can't grow anymore. And you're like, what's going on? Oh, they're too hot. And you get into the struggle of trying to bring yourself back. So iron, we'll probably want more of that processed. What is She-Wolf up to that I haven't seen any research at? Never mind, she's doing it right now. I was like, what is She-Wolf up to that we're getting, like, no research? I'm imagining what's happening is we're getting so little, wood in here, and how much we're cooking is probably just burning through that, and it's becoming a problem. Because we'll definitely want to get this hydrogen sorted. I'm trying to keep it before it leaks over to the point where it's starting to pile up over here. I'm trying to just keep it trapped in this area and kind of delay my dealing with it. Because hydrogen is very light gas. So if we let it get all trapped up in this little pocket up here over time, I could ignore it for a little while. I don't know what died there that gave meat, but that's okay. Alright. I don't know how you got here. Alright. It's also weird to me that we have all this delicious cooked food, and yet I still regularly see them like grab just like the regular pike apple and eat it. Isn't that how all the animals the wife brings home? I've never actually known someone just randomly... I mean, I know people randomly bring animals home, but I've not particularly seen that to be like a wife issue kind of thing. I definitely known guys that be like, I want a dog, and they go and bring a dog home, and their wife's like, why do you have a dog? Like, these are things we should really discuss first. I've known one for that. I wouldn't say that's exclusively like a wives thing. Like I said, the only one I've known in real life who's done that was the husband who brought it home. And the person was just like, we're in an apartment. Where are you going to keep this big dog? You know, later on kept it and all that. Nah, I gotcha. Oh, you never did go in here. Sometimes the dupes. Like, we have this room, we never did check out. Where's Rhetorical? Rhetorical's our fastest runner. Let's just make Rhetorical run over there, pop open that door. There's you, there's you. Alright, so I'm gonna have you move to... So you should be standing right there. And when you get close, I'm gonna go, oh no, it's not a 9. Or the animal that the husband hates, but now the two are better friends than the wife. I mean, I've definitely seen that where someone gets an animal and the other one was like very reluctant to get it. And then just down the road, that's the one, like, it's the other way around is the one that actually like really does enjoy the animal or whatever. I've seen that kind of thing. Okay, so we got the stuff for research later. We can rummage through the cabinets for more clothes. Just open that, stop going around. Okay, we got a snazzy suit. We can give that to Donkey Duff. Your favorite animals that are territorial for one person? It isn't bark to the other when they get near? That's not great. Because that could kind of just suck. But, yeah. So Donkey Duff's got themselves a fancy new suit. Don't you suffocate by, like, running back and forth. Alright. So if we mine that out, they won't have to climb over it anymore, so I'll save them commute time. Was your friend got the apprentice to buy a puppy named Homer? Then the apprentice's dad told him to get rid of it. Your friend tried to give him to me, and you didn't want him. The dog helped Homer escape. His dog helped Homer escape. I was told I had a fine. Wait. My friend got the apprentice to buy a puppy he named Homer. The apprentice's dad told him to get rid of it. Your friend tried to give him to you, but you didn't want him. His dog helped Homer escape. I was told him I had a fine. You told him... I'm missing something here. I was told I had a fine. Am I missing a joke here? Yeah, this is... I'm missing something here. Like, maybe the wordplay is just not working, or it's a reference. A fine from escaping, and the dog catchers got them. Oh, so like they tried to find you as supposedly it was like your dog, even though you had said like, no, I don't want the dog. Yeah, it's a whole thing. Like that's, yeah, that was the reason. I was like, what? Why would you get the fine? Yeah, we already, I can't remember. I think that was the gold. I think that's the gold volcano over there that someday we want. Right now is utterly terrifying. Gold volcanoes for getting like nice refined metal are great, but also they're basically what feels like 1,000,000,000 degrees. That you got to be ready to deal with some serious heat before you're going to go and pop that thing. That's true of all the volcanoes too. Right now I'm just trying to get ourselves all that stuff squared away. Okay, so you are starting to get that bridge built across. He tried to make you pay the fine. You said it's not my dog. Yeah. Yep. I can definitely see someone trying to pass the buck on that kind of thing, being like, I'll pay for this. I'm gonna try and make someone else pay for it. So the pike apple is, again, we don't... Like, I'm letting the calories drop down because we are getting more and more animals. So a lot of those pike apples are just getting fed to the animals, as opposed to being a huge thing. Eventually that'll be something to sort itself out too. And this is one negative run with oxygen non-clue. It's just like, you queue something up, and you're like, alright, what are we doing now? We're waiting. Okay, what are we doing after that? We're waiting. I got a bunch of projects queued up. We gotta wait till they get done. Because this is 100% a game you can just queue up and queue up and queue up and queue up, and nothing gets finished. You just get a ton of partially finished projects. You can use the priority system to make it hopefully better, but even then I found it a little all over the place. Why are you not getting opened? It's fine. So it is kind of just get it set up, let it run, get it sorted. I very much enjoy it, but it can be a little rough to stream at times because it just takes time. We're not even hitting like the real nasty product. There are some projects that you'll sit there like when you go to build like the self-contained cooling system for the volcano, and then you use the volcano to produce power like through like effectively geothermal power and all that kind of stuff, and you try and get all that working. That you'll spend like 2-3 streams just getting all the different pieces in order, getting it all ready. You've got like the last couple blocks to take off on the volcano, but you keep it corked for right now. You get like the entire coolant area. You've got to figure out what you're going... Sorry, the entire cooling area. And then you usually have like a pretty difficult time making coolant that's any good, that can handle the temperatures of a volcano and still work well. And so you get all of that set up, and as like finally you get everything in place, you're like, okay, and then you finally take like the last little piece of the stuff off the volcano and have whoever's there like immediately retreat out of there as fast as they can. Alright, so with all that I can finally build the apothecary. I believe you need power? No. Alright, then I'm just gonna chuck you right here. So we can go up here to medicine, apothecary, go like that. So we can make more of the stuff for the bionics. I'm really... Okay, that's a bit hotter. That was up to the 30s down there. Yeah, this place is warming up, but nowhere near as fast as I expected it, which is surprising to me because this is all gas. Usually it doesn't take much to get the air to heat up when you're just dumping heat from a bunch of buildings. Like normally that's those ones that you just very quickly, you get a bunch of processes going, it just keeps building up a little bit of heat, a little bit of heat, a little bit of heat, and then just suddenly things are getting out of control. Okay. It was complaining that one of my people is hungry. Alright. should have a lot of temperature flowing between these. We'll probably end up screwing up our environments pretty bad pretty soon. But, sometimes you just gotta wreck some environments. In horrific, irreparable ways. So curious where this gunk came from. Because I don't think this gunk came from our cybernetic person. Like, even if it had gone down here, why would it collect here, here, and here, and not be visible at the bottom? Is there an ultimate goal to this game? Yeah, so we actually go to the gate. There's a bunch of different end game conditions you see here. So, like, one is to print 12 duplicates, build a great monument, maintain 16 morale, and survive 200 cycles. That's one win condition. One is a great escape, which is to establish several colonies, open a temporal tear, and breach the tear. There is the cosmic astrology, which is to study 10 terrestrial artifacts and 10 space artifacts. And then there's full steam ahead, which is to discover geothermal power plant, reconnect the heat pump, and, you know, clear the block geo vents. So there are these, like, major projects you can do. Alright, I want to put in our skill on you right now. I'm worried you'll start getting really upsetty spaghetti. Same with you, I think. Yeah, we're going to leave all you alone. What I probably need to do is priorities. We need to put you back onto cooking, so we get that food handled more efficiently. But yeah, so you can choose to do any and all of the above. When you finish them, you can just do the next objective. I think maybe tearing in, like, taking the tear into the next area. That one might be a it finishes the run kind of thing. Like, it does a reset of sorts, like New Game Plus. I think. I'm not confident on that one. So Gear Bomb, do forever. I don't really care about the others. Alright, so metal power banks, will grab those. I don't want a regular dupe. We want to try and go and mess with cybernetics. That's the new DLC anyways. But with that said, Chow, what's gonna probably happen here in a minute is I have been splitting my streams half and half between games. And we are at about that halfway point. So I need to use the restroom anyways, so I'm gonna go ahead and save the game here. And what we'll go ahead and do is we'll be switching over to RimWorld. Over on YouTube, it should bounce you to the new stream here on its own in just a minute when we do the switch, but its stream will go down for just a minute while we do that. Over here on Twitch, just hang out. It'll get switched over anyways. So is there lore behind this game or like other games from the company? Yeah. I don't know the details. My understanding is like the planet exploded or whatever. And then you're like surviving on the chunks of the planet. You've got like little cloned people to like deal with it. I don't know the details because I haven't looked into it, and it's not like there's a bunch of lore you can read in the game, but I don't have all of that figured out. It's just not something I've done the homework and the research on. It's kind of like